I'm all set. Did you get, that email I sent this morning?
With the
Yeah.
budget, yeah, it's,
Is that included
Yeah.
in here? Sweet, okay, thank you. I know that it's just easier to read that way when we're talking about budget, so. Okay. Previous meeting minutes, let's get started there.
Of course, we're all sitting here BS and I've never read this.
Let's see. Oh, it's a nice, concise one pager.
the font might be a little small. Sorry.
I don't.
Oh, my name is spelled right, so I make a motion to approve.
Motion to approve. Okay, do I have a second?
It is right or it's not? Oh,
It is.
I'll second it.
Second, all right. Do we need any further discussion? Great, all in favor, say aye. Any opposed? This motion passed. Current financials. So, and Aaron, it was my understanding we didn't get financials because it was tied up in finance?
yeah, so I tried to run the report this morning, so that's what's in there.
Okay,
I guarantee it's probably not right.
okay.
Yeah,
They
maybe,
still,
maybe we should just skip financial.
Yeah.
I don't think it's.
Okay.
yeah, I'd hate to like approve something that's,
I asked a question related to the area. What happened to the 2,000 for the outreach program? Did that get transferred over or not?
no, it's still sitting in out,
Yeah.
line item.
And it's 3,000.
Yeah,
3,000.
3,000.
Yeah,
Is this
so,
It's likely
activity
gonna just fall into reserves for
well,
this year.
I don't think it's probably on the agenda, so we might as well talk about it now. Partly, I brought it back to the board about what we were supposed to use those funds for, and honestly, we just didn't have the capacity to do the newspaper, and this is just not enough money to really do that right. We worked with Brian Mackey, who was at Fallen One at the time, and he's like, print is, you don't want to get into that, but in part, this was just kind of a decision that Ducky made that we're too overwhelmed to take on something more. The outreach portion of like going out and handing out flyers and talking to businesses we're doing, but not the newspaper,
Yeah, I think we had a specific request. Can we get like hard copies, like delivered to individual businesses? Cause we guys get lost.
And they said, well,
So between print and your time passing them out.
You mean like brochures or something?
They have the Decky pipeline. I think it was specifically that.
well, and so it doesn't convert from just printing out. So
Right.
the time it would take to make like how Jackie used to do their hard newspaper and pass it out, the time and the cost, basically Brian said 3,000 wouldn't touch printing that. So, and this I think is the first we're meeting since then. So,
Yeah.
So we have other ideas that we can use and do, but just nothing.
It's probably gonna fall under reserve.
I think it's gonna fall under reserves. We're not pushing to do anything for the rest of the year at this point. I think there's even a discussion of us dissolving outreach. If, our big discussion at outreach was, Decky is that counterpart for us. That's the advertising promotion
That's their
side.
mission, yeah.
And that really shouldn't be what we're spending our time with, so.
I would agree.
Yeah, so I think that's, I don't know how we go about resolving that, or if when we do budget, we just kind of take out that line item. But,
In the,
mhm,
in the operating plan, that was removed out of it.
Right.
That was, yeah.
mhm.
Then I have a financial question. If you're done with that one, are you done with that one? Aaron?
Oh, me? Yeah. That's all. We haven't spent it. It's still in your account.
Garbage service, it sounds like it looks like already we're underwater on that one.
So you paid out for fourth quarter now. This is through the end of the
Okay, so that's the
year.
end of the year, okay.
And actually, John was on the board then. So you guys were aware this was gonna happen because there was a price change after budget creation.
Over, yeah.
I can,
Yeah, this is hard to look at. I
can't really give you an update on lighting because I haven't gotten the bill yet, but they did come through to do some July repairs. Unless we have lighting on the.
No,
It's
if you want to
not on
talk,
there.
no,
So,
go ahead and
As
talk.
far
about
as the budget goes, I would imagine that's probably in the 10K range, what they did here, and then usually probably in November, they got 2 trees that they're gonna have to totally rewrap. And a lot of the problems, and I don't know if that's on your either, so maybe we'll talk about that in budget with financial. A lot of our cost is being driven by these trees continue to grow because if you remember the city forester 3 years ago, we had him come through and structurally trim them all. They cut all our lights off. That cost us a bunch. And then he was gonna come back and treat them with a growth inhibitor
Did you do that?
and never did it. No, and John asked him a ton of times. I asked him a ton. We had emails going back. Now, I talked to Dave and he got me in touch with Wayne, who's Matt's boss. And supposedly it was gonna happen, but Aaron and I are just gonna go through and look at the trees, make sure, but they're growing.
This
They're
year,
growing so
very
much, it
fast.
really causes us a lot of problems in the lighting. And they're getting too big anyway, a lot of them, so, that's our goal to do that, and is the, budget discussion, well, maybe we should talk about, I'm not sure we can talk about this, so in budget discussion, we could talk about all the committees potentially.
Yeah, as far as what dollar amounts are needed where, yeah.
Yeah, cause Aaron and I were just talking about potentially the treatment, maybe we put that out to private service.
Right. And we decided that trees were gonna fall under lighting, or are we still, it's still landscape? Okay.
Give that to John. Now it's you.
Okay, I can.
Don't want it. I mean.
I mean, it makes sense.
You know why? Cause man, I don't get over it.
Gotcha, okay. So the tree stunting is really something that
But
should be,
But it really. Yeah, I don't know. What do you guys all think? Where should it fall?
yeah,
I'm sure, thank you.
Absolutely.
and we've got a landscape meeting tomorrow, so actually we can discuss how and when that needs to get done. It can still be done this year.
I think
Oh,
it can be
yeah,
done
absolutely.
right now. It can be done.
This is like
A
a
growth
2-year.
Inhibitor?
regulator, inhibitor can be done anytime of year. I thought he said that.
Here was my only problem with trying to go private. Number one, he said he'd do it, it would have been free. But if he doesn't do it, then we want to keep track of it because I believe they have to do it every 3 years. So I think a
Yeah.
private
I gotta
contractor,
keep doing it.
private contractor would probably keep track of it for us. We have a map of the trees. If Aaron can't find it, I can find it again. And then we'll keep track of it.
I feel like this should almost be something that like, like with our RFP with landscaping, they hire out the irrigation and deal with it. And we just like make that a part of our budget with them.
Well, and
So
it's,
maybe like tree stunting should be the same way.
yeah, and I can't imagine it's gonna be done every year. It's probably a
Right.
one-time deal.
It's one time.
Why don't we take the next month,
and we'll
do a
work.
walkthrough, talk to
A-
Matt.
After
and then
Labor
make it-
Day, I mean, 'cause
Okay.
it's really busy right up and at least until after
Yeah.
that. So let's do it in September.
Let's do that. And then that way we can decide moving forward.
Yeah, and my only thing was just, will the city allow us to do those things to their trees? I think Wayne Berg would give me the green light on it.
Well, Matt gave you the green light on it. He just hasn't gone and done it.
I don't remember. Matter of fact, I got all those emails in here.
I use Savvy Tree Service.
That's why I used
That
it,
one,
yeah.
Well, and even
But
Matt.
then we gotta get 3
knowledge
bids
how much
anyway, so, you
answers
know.
they
Yeah,
are.
that'd be one.
Mm-hmm.
Why didn't they just plant trees that don't grow
Yeah.
large?
Nobody knows.
They found all different varieties, and the other thing Wayne was gonna do was have them put bigger tree in where the one got knocked down by a tangle, and then also the one in front of, Pizza Plus or whatever has died again, I think.
Yeah, that ginkgo's dead.
Yeah, and so he was gonna plant bigger ones, but when he plants them downtown, he's gotta leave the bays on, and I talked to Jim. I said, if they do this, you gotta film them, because the cities, they don't have the capacity to do that. And she didn't have a problem with that.
Well, now we have water all over the place.
Right,
It's really
right.
easy to act.
So,
So you guys have a big conversation with
yeah.
Matt. Yeah, and then we'll
We
just.
should just do it ourselves.
Dump the trees yourself.
Anyway, that's all the budget questions I had. That was on budget.
Yeah, and I don't know if I feel comfortable approving this.
Oh, so should we move that
Can we move forward?
we,
And is there anything that like we can get in the next hour that we're here? I mean, is anybody still working on it or?
and I mean, there's no surprises out there.
Yeah, I would
Yeah.
just say that.
Yeah.
I'll
you're
get
not gonna accept them
notifications, so.
Presented.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so if someone make a motion.
Somebody make a motion not to accept it as presented.
I make a
And might
motion,
I
I make a
just-
motion that we don't accept them as presented and we
Okay.
will. Financials the next time.
Anybody for a second? Second, Jeremy, okay. Any discussion? No? I just want to say to that, I do submit these like a week prior, and this is not on you, Aaron, but like, the information is there, so frustrating that in a week's time, we can't get this stuff, you know, but yeah, the work has been done. It's not like we're all delaying.
Accounting is supposed to be here and they're not, so.
Fantastic, okay, all right, just
Oh, there's
wanted to
something in this
discuss
meeting.
that. All in favor of the motion? Perfect, any opposed? Great, motion passed. Great. Let's move on. So I told you guys, yeah, today I want this to be like 90% budget discussion. We've got full board in what, 2 weeks, I think, so.
Oh, boy.
But yeah, so we have got to kind of, I guess, I say we go line item by line item with our budget and see
Next
where
week.
adjustments need to be made.
Next week.
Is it next week? Okay, yeah, I knew it was like,
Yeah, next Thursday, yeah, 27th.
what is it, next Wednesday?
Next Wednesday, I got it.
Yeah.
Sorry, Wednesday.
Okay. that's good. Won't be able to make that. So, yeah, so anyway, couple things. Mill rate, we have any information about that in here? I have what, I had to scour through a lot of paperwork to grab mill rate. I just didn't know if there was anything more formal to look at.
So I have the 2025. I cannot find like the spreadsheet of 2024.
Okay, so I found that.
Okay.
So if you guys, I don't know if you guys wanna like write this stuff down
Yeah.
just so that we have reference, but
Was that the email that you,
that was the email. Yeah, if you could
Can I
pull
pull
up
that
that
up?
email. I think this is correct, but I mean, I was looking for a confirmation on it, but this is what I found and that matches up.
do you remember when you sent me that?
I can, re-forward it.
Well, if you have it, you can just give us a number.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Well, so I was gonna give you guys a comparison to, let's see. So the 2024 mill rate, so the one that we used for last year was 0.002-11589. That was based on an assessment of 69,115, or 69,115,000. That gave our budget 178,000.
So is that number? Is that, did I write that down right?
69,150, yep, yep. And if you guys remember, I tried to find bill from the year previous, was 0.0016669. So we jumped up from that $1.67 to $2.12.
Yeah, we charge more because.
And
we
that
bought
had-
Property.
That had everything to do with losing like 30 million in, you know, property value, et cetera.
Right. So now.
So now.
He has the current one.
Yep, so this
What was it?
year, would be 0.00258-4497. And that would be if we keep our dollar amount the same at that 178. And then that was based on an assessment of 68,872,000.
Also, we lost value.
So we lost about $1 million in assessment.
Really?
Yeah.
God, that's unusual.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure why, like what came off the line.
Read that mill rate again for
Yep.
25.
For 25, it's 0.00258-4497.
Yeah, so we went,
So we lost $1 million in assessment, which means our mill had to raise up to meet us at that 178.
so we should have more money than
Yeah,
that big of a
and
difference.
that's not,
Cause you're 0.00211, and now you're 0.00258.
right. so-
Yeah,
so
which
that
means
should
we
be-
increased by 47%.
Which means we're gonna get more,
People are gonna get charged more.
no,
Yeah,
immediate,
they'll get charged more.
47 cents
We lost $1
per,
million.
Yeah, about-
won't we get more revenue?
Yeah, you should get more revenue. A million wouldn't change, a million wouldn't.
but it went down $1 million.
Yeah, but I mean, your percentage is higher. It seems to me.
But that's because
Their
there's less to
percentage is higher
assess.
because
Yeah,
to meet the 178.
yeah,
So then that's not,
And
That's
that's-
just to get.
right. That's
the
if we
same
stay
budget
at the
you have.
178.
Yeah.
Yeah, the math figures out.
So it's
well, then
essentially.
what if we use the same mill rate we have now, times the.
Yeah, how much do you?
Yeah, what is it? Is it gonna be very close or probably?
And the current, here, give me the current.
Oh,
And this is a bunch of us doing this, it's not
So-
counting
yeah.
telling us, it's stuff like,
You would get
60
hundred
million.
and 45,000 if you took the property value now and used the mill rate from last year.
that can't be right.
Yeah, so the one,
Lose
the,
120?
No, it would be.
You would get 145,000, so you lose 33,000.
so the top one up here, the Veroni Land Company LLC,
You know,
their total value is the same. Last year, their bid assessment was 1484.29. This year it's 1813.02.
Well, you're
So yeah,
also,
it is.
you're also taking that, daytime shelter off payroll. That was a $2.5 million building.
Oh, and that was in.
Oh.
No, that's
well,
not.
that's not sold yet.
Was that in North Barstow?
I thought that closed in June.
It's sold.
Oh, did it?
It's North Barstow.
Yeah, it is north,
So
that's not
what
us.
did we lose in assessment?
Well, if you take the last year's mill rate, 0.0021158.9, multiply it by
That's 68.
the
69.
Yeah.
No, let's go last
68.
year's.
One-
69,115,
725.
that'd be 146.
So
So
what
you're-
would that give our budget total?
145, 725.
Oh,
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't know
that's
how you
not-
get to the 178. How'd you
Yeah,
get to the
yeah, I don't think
178?
these are.
That was times the
The
point
two.
584,497. So.
Yeah.
Okay, so the mill rate last year was 0.00211.
Yep.
We lost value in the bid, so now to achieve 178 budget, you would
Right.
need to raise it to $2.58 a thousand. If you want to keep it at the $2.11, you'll only bring in 145.
But what,
We should drop it
we
like
should
30
have
grand in our
what it
budget.
actually was last year because we got 178, so that number should be.
but we have a different assessment dollar. That's why.
No, this number here doesn't even work with the 69 million to get your 178, right?
The one
By this time, 69.
The 178
wrong.
works
This
here.
is last year.
Yeah.
Oh, you're
Get-
saying,
Get me to 178 using those numbers. I don't think it
well,
works.
you're,
Points,
okay,
yeah.
hold on, I just want
Points
to check
zero
this
two.
number. And this number you're saying when
Should
you,
equal our budget of 178.
You get 178 and you take that mill rate and you take that property value. Multiply these two together and you get 178.
Which property value are you looking at?
The
69,
68,872.
but that's this year's.
you're right, I
Last year
get,
was 69,115.
I get 146.
That is what I'm getting too.
Yeah. so
If you
that's
did,
not
what
right.
did you do?
I did the
Yeah.
0.0211589 times 69 million.
Yeah, and you get the 140.
So that's not, this is not a correct number. That's not what we get in our taxes. That's not what they charge us.
These two numbers give you the 178.
They do, the 158, or the,
And again, because
0.00258.
this is like
Which one?
everything that I
Multiply
could
these
dig
two.
for. I
So
mean, I
then this,
can't.
so then this one was probably what the
We paid last
taxpayers were
year.
charged last year,
Yeah,
and we don't have the new one yet, maybe.
correct. I would say
That's-
that's probably.
That's probably what it is. We're looking at bad numbers.
Otherwise, the math don't work out.
Right.
So you've got.
So this is what it was going to be.
5.8.
Yeah.
We increased our budget. This is what it was last year.
Yeah.
We don't have the new one this year. Typically, this will go up.
Ah, okay, yep.
Well,
I don't think we have.
Should be
our
with the
choice.
property.
It's our choice.
It's
The
not-
board's
it's not.
choice.
So we don't have the mill rate.
No, it's not our choice. Because the mill rate can change based on the property value. So if the property values have gone up, which I'm not sure that the numbers we have are totally accurate yet. Property values go up,
Right.
then our budget will go up. Even if the mill rate stays the same, it should stay, if it stays the same as what it was last year and the values go up, we get more money.
Only if you keep your mill rate that way. You could set your mill
Yeah.
rate at 30 cents if
Right.
you wanted.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right.
So you can either choose a dollar amount that you want for your budget, you need it for things, and then you raise the mill rate or lower the mill rate to achieve that. Or you could choose to keep your mill rate at whatever is, so they'll still produce the mill rate. And if you go at that, then it will determine how much money is in your budget. So if you decide you don't want to spend that much and just cut half your programs, you could drop it down to $1.
I think your property values are correct. They never
I've-
go down. I've never. ever
I've
seen
been
them go
told
down. You go to the assessor for that?
this is from assessing and from Kitsy.
Yes.
Kitsy overlooked this before I sent it out.
Our mill rate shouldn't be
Same
the
as last
same
year.
as last year. Like, there's $1 million difference in assessments.
Well,
So if we multiply
I mean,
the
Right.
25 number times the 68, what is our budget?
yeah.
You come up with 178.
Does it come up to exactly 178?
No.
Can't be.
It doesn't.
178, like 200 or something.
Comes up to, yeah, no, I lost.
I didn't write down the number, 68
We're doing this and that, right? 68, 8.
times, yeah, well, it wouldn't come up to exactly 178.
68872.
Oh, well, it's really,
Comes up
really
with
close.
this.
Oh, 170, okay, well, then it's,
Mm,
so then it's almost identical to what it was last year.
178.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
We had 178 last year and it was times 69 million.
Yeah.
115, which isn't just a huge difference, so it's very close.
Yeah, you're a penny off.
No, that one came to like.
Usually if we keep the mill rate the same, the values go up.
But yes, okay.
Then
so
we
they
have,
should
then
be
we
the
have
same.
a choice to make.
So our mill rates are basically.
They're
the
saying we
same.
lost value.
Mm,
It's because the city's chasing people out down here. Giving more to nonprofits.
All right,
Yeah, right?
Yes,
I mean, that's exactly what's happening.
yes.
And we're starting to see the effects of them in the city, so. Personally,
Okay.
I've never seen it not grow down here, so.
you guys in your packet, I
Really?
brought you, I had them print out the 2024 just so that we can talk line items more specifically. So I guess I think before we decide mill rate, we have to decide categories and see if we're sitting comfortably where we want in everyone. You guys have that in your packet there?
Mhm.
Okay. So can we just go through those kind of line by line and see? I still don't know what that other materials and supplies is.
I think that's your slush fund, isn't it?
Yeah, it probably is. Yeah, we just dropped it down last year.
We don't technically
That's just,
need that.
it's
'Cause we
a,
pull everything out of reserves anyway.
For slush fund.
Well, like if we need approval, then that's what, you know what I
Well, to
mean?
be fair, the way the system is now, you guys are pretty ineffective at doing anything because you have to
Right.
get 3 quotes and go through that process.
right, so
Uh,
it doesn't help us like it used to.
Right, because you can't just
We-
pull from
we
that
had
to do
10,000
the charity dug tank or.
Irrigation, we can't do
Yeah.
it, so.
So
you're
we wouldn't
right, we
technically need that 45 sitting.
Or you could move that.
Okay. Auditing, that one has to stay the same.
Mhm.
Outreach special projects is another thing that we're
Could
talking
move it,
about
yeah.
dissolving.
You could move it, you know.
Snow
Garbage
removal, I think we have that still sitting out there in a motion up to, what, 10 or 15K as needed.
It's, we figured that we had enough in reserves because we don't hardly ever use it, and we put money into reserves on snow removal every year.
I think we made a motion so that we didn't have to bring it back to full board and pull it out of reserves. Are we gonna need to make a new motion
For next year,
After we do.
after you do it.
Okay.
And
Alright.
you know, you're also gonna make a motion that the committee chairs can. Or
Spend their
approve to spend their budget.
Yep.
That motion was made.
garbage service? I think, like
Can go up.
1,000? I mean, are we gonna have to do like? a
If you
couple
have
thousand
room,
more?
I would do 1,500, but
You guys comfortable with that?
there's more garbage coming downtown, that means more people, but I feel like you just keep adding a second pickup on another garbage can, so.
Okay, so 2150.
Mhm.
Stormwater seems to be okay, insurance, okay. Music maintenance, is there any updates with the dollar amount changing on that?
No, well, unless you have a meeting from North Barstow.
Yeah, so potentially, okay, so. I don't know if this is time or not, but okay, the parking garage is where you currently house the equipment that feeds the music to the speakers.
Civic Center parking garage,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
It is coming down, so that's gonna have to be moved. Converge at this time is kind of partnering with Pablo Center. Julie Pangello is now their chair, and I believe that they are moving an office into the Pablo, which is where we had originally tried to move this equipment years ago, and I don't exactly remember why it wouldn't work. But I think it had something to do with technology back then actually needed to be wired and we didn't. I would imagine with technology now, this isn't gonna matter that much. So I don't know, I am not a tech person, so I don't really understand that, but there needs to be a home where this is housed. So I assume it will go to Pablo. If that's the case, that will, and we can get wireless speakers in North Barstow that don't have to necessarily run through conduit. They are interested in expanding their program. The biggest thing is I'm waiting for Leah to get me information on the street to see if there is conduit that we can
And then.
pull through or north. If that happens, This will go down if North gets music, because I imagine they're not gonna increase this too much and you guys would just split the service between the two. So I wouldn't
that
say there would be
conversation.
any more than 15, but I'd leave it there. That way, if you need new speakers or if we need money when we're moving this equipment, Pablo, you have it.
Basically converge so that if North Barstow uses it, then the whole bill would go up by 5, but we split that, so instead of us paying 15, we pay 10,
10,
so.
Yeah.
I never hear music on my speaker. Used to hear it through my window.
There has been a few issues lately, and actually, just this last week, it was out for a little bit. Colin was able to get back on, but if it's out again, he's thinking we have to get in that room. And there's a code for it that I need to get. The phone still probably knows it. I
Good
gotta talk to
morning.
Rod. Hi.
Yeah, I guess I would say I'm comfortable leaving music maintenance at that
I would
15K.
write down until here, otherwise
Yeah.
how close to North Barstow, do you have any idea?
Well, the biggest problem is, North Barstow had to get kind of like all of the pieces laid with Decky being able to do work for them. So this is a capital improvement project, which is not under my, authority to spend. So I'm going out and getting quotes right now for speakers, but I need to have basically walkthroughs of all of them. I would say they have at their last meeting, once again reassured they want to do this. I don't see this happening until probably fall of 26. So I'm assuming you guys will have this bill for most of the year next year. Just because it's gonna take so much time to get 3 companies in to do a walkabout, give us the quotes, turn it over, and then.
So is this, because we don't have the budget, is this gonna look funny because we did like a 6-month contract and then another 6 month?
This year it should be.
Or is this gonna
Yeah,
shake
this is
out?
Going back to the thing right now.
Fine, yeah.
Yes, didn't the 15 cover till June? So
Yes.
there's only gonna be like 7,500 coming out.
There's only reception
Right?
taken out of this, yeah,
This year.
this year, next
So
year.
we'll have 75.
Well, next year could look funny too, if it's gonna be
Right.
15,000, and then if North Barstow jumps on at the end of the year, and it's gonna get, but
Yeah.
close.
Or we got them to go to a fiscal year.
Yeah.
starting
Correct.
January.
So we'll technically see 7,500 for music drop into reserves.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then again, we're gonna have that 3K from special projects also go into reserves, just on a sideline note here. Okay, banner, yeah,
Comment, Aaron, if they get to the point of some tech stuff, you could have me go with you. 'Cause that's what I do.
Oh, thank God.
That makes sense.
Thank God there's people like you in the world. It's like my brain doesn't want to even like open that door. You know, it's like you got too much going on.
right?
Awesome,
No room
Steve,
left.
that would be great.
Very cool. Okay, banner maintenance, we have 5 in there, do you have, hey, I don't think we've gotten any new banners this year,
No,
so we haven't touched this budget.
yeah, I would keep the same, I'd rather use the money for something else.
Yeah.
If we need to, like,
Do we think this year we'll see that 5K also drop into reserves?
Well,
But
you
we've
you
used-
have your banner turnouts, so you
Yeah.
did spend.
and we'll
Okay.
be to term out again, so if you look on the actual available, it says 0, but we have a little bit left.
How much did you spend?
20 or 3 grand.
So
Didn't
yeah,
Pablo Center do free put up and take down for us? Is that?
that
going?
was years
That was way
ago,
back in
but
the
they
day.
never actually
They
did
did
it.
it. They said they were gonna do it once.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a really long couple of meetings to get that set up and then it never happened. So no, they will not be doing it.
Okay, good.
Can I ask you a question? This is, I saw this like in another city. Is there any reason that the banners are at the height that they're at? I mean, because I've seen them where they're lower and then you can access them without scaffolding and.
Yeah.
They
I
used-
know in the intersections,
Yeah.
if you're a trucker, you have to be able to see under the banner.
You
So
know,
they have to be
there's
placed up
signage.
high enough. that
And they'll
people
probably-
can
there's
walk
signage ordinances.
Oh, okay.
You got all that.
So most of your light poles have your street parking signs and things, and so those, have a certain height they have to be at, and so that's why you have to go above.
Got it.
A lot of times you see the smaller banners on shorter poles
Maybe that's what it is.
if there's not also parking signs.
It didn't seem, I mean, if Thomas Lee does it in conjunction with snowflakes or stuff like that, they've got a lift out there.
Right.
Otherwise, I have seen guys on ladders too. Which
Yeah, they can be on a,
it's
yeah.
not, it's not terrible
Right.
stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Okay. So we'll see about 2K maybe from banner, fall into reserves as well, but we'll keep it
Well,
at
you'll have
5.
one more turnout, so I don't think you'll have nearly that
Not a
much.
lot?
No, you only got $1,000 left, yeah.
And then that was just for turnouts, that wasn't to like get new banners. Is it possible, maybe we wanna add a little to that budget to get new banners next year?
And see where we stand at the end of this.
Okay,
We could, but
because I think
Are
we
they
kind
still
of
in
been,
good condition?
the summer ones are good, that's the main one.
Yeah, people like
do we
the
need
ones.
more? I mean, I know we kind of focused on Barstow, but do we need to maybe start putting a little bit
We
of,
don't have enough all over the place, so if you wanna put a few extras, but obviously we
Mhm.
can come back to it if you have anything left over, but.
okay.
Sure.
I think it'd be nice, I mean, we didn't make any purchases this year, and I think that's something that we should continue to do instead of have them all die on us and fade to baby blue. Like,
So what are you thinking?
Wanna put like
Where would you put them if they aren't not?
I don't think there's anything on Graham and there's nothing across like,
There's the ton on
Banners on
Graham.
Graham.
is there?
Yeah, Graham and Barstow are,
The summer ones? What did we
um,
get that year?
but there aren't across Lake.
60?
So
Yeah.
Lake Street is really ignored. And then you don't have, well, you have like 2 old banners on Farwell, but we just haven't taken them down because they're way, way, way high up.
Mhm.
But I wouldn't do anything on Farwell until they redo all of that.
Yeah, I think it'd be
Wait a
nice
few
to
years, yeah.
slowly expand, but yeah, I would like to see Lake get some attention.
Are those, I'd have to go check the poles across Lake Street. Did those get, they are different. So we do have some hardware and storage. Water Street is looking at getting banners. And so I was gonna have them use those temporarily, before they made an investment. But we have some of the old banner poles that are the same size that could work if the poles are different. The poles you guys have actually have like an interlocking system for the,
They're specifically made for
Yeah.
those poles.
yeah, and we can get more of those. Actually, Thomas Lee did bring up that, a few of the pieces, like he'll need more hardware next year to be able to put up all the banners, because we're losing pins and we're losing brackets and something he can source for you guys. So-
Okay. That might just be like a,
So actually, you probably do want to put some more money, unless that would come out of
Banners and maintenance.
materials and supplies.
yeah,
It's got an
banner
extra-
maintenance.
it's got an extra $1,000.
I'd
But
say
if you want to
since-
get another banner.
I do like $2,000.
Oh, yeah, and
Cause if
also,
we've gotta get new brackets and we also wanna fill Lake Street, then. I think it
and
could
Coop Tournament is gonna be talking to the bids. They're having their 100th year anniversary and we want to do banners in the downtown. Years ago, we had set up a program where there was like like they would pay for the install and take down. So that's something that they've been talking to North Barstow about. They will probably talk to you about it, in 2027. That's when the tournament is, but they want to know now when they order the banner. So, you'd have an option for that banner to come in for seasonal and turnout, and then,
Do they have the Coop tournament in downtown? How does that benefit the
No.
downtown?
well, so it's out at the soccer park,
We're
but
not into advertising for it.
it draws a ton of tourists and they do come downtown, so it's about that connection piece. If you guys didn't have to pay for it, it's just up to you about placement. You totally can say no. I'm just throwing it out there so you guys are aware.
brings a ton of tourism, is it really? I didn't know about it.
What is it?
I didn't think
Gigantic. It's like
about it
insane.
Until like earlier this year.
It's like, well, it's the national tournament or something. Yeah, I mean, we're gonna have people staying here all weekend long.
You know, it's tough, cause we've had the conversation so many times, it's like, it could open the door to like anything that doesn't happen downtown. So you got Rock Fest, Country Jam, you got,
No, because I mean,
you
Jazz
know,
Fest is
the
down here.
EDM festival,
The
like,
marathon is starting and ending downtown, I think, pretty much,
Right.
and those are.
which makes
events-
sense, right?
And that's, I've communicated to the group that typically that's how it's been. Maybe we should get some fall festival banners.
We do need fall festival banners. I know we talked about that like 2 years ago. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I guess I would say put another 2K in banners. And then we can see what kind of equipment we're missing on Lake.
Yep.
Get that situated and some new banners. Do you guys feel comfortable with that?
I'll defer to Jeremy there. It's your committee, right?
My committee, yeah. We can see what everyone, we gotta use any money anywhere else. I mean, I'll take 2K, but
We're adding 1,500 to garbage so far and
we're also.
That gives us 4K from what we had before, which I was gonna suggest we put into landscaping, but
That's
Yeah,
a big
I
one.
mean, we do need to see more in landscaping.
Always meet in the middle and do 1,500 more.
Yeah,
Rest of it,
yeah.
just see if
So
We
bring
need
that,
more.
Then let
and
me
then
help
we've
you
got to
spend it.
ask for, yeah.
landscaping's another important one there, so.
Yeah.
So yeah, 6,500. Yeah, so on the landscape, I do think, yeah, we're gonna need to see more money in there. What that dollar amount is really hard to say. I think this is the first year we've tracked hours and kind of, we're gonna get that back from Jen as far as like, has it been adequate? Is she going over what we budgeted for? So we don't really know what that looks like until maybe tomorrow's meeting that we're having with her. But we're running into things like, we're gonna probably wanna do like an irrigation maintenance, which is something that we haven't added before. We've had irrigation to blow out the lines, but it would be nice to do like a full maintenance. So we don't run into,
So are we on,
Major
we're on landscape now?
yep, we're on to landscaping, yeah.
Did you get the irrigation fixed down here?
Oh, that's a whole different line item.
No, that's on irrigation, landscaping.
But it's
No, I mean,
budget,
it's
we're
on,
in the-
yeah.
Oh, that's
Oh, we'll get to it. But yeah, so because of that, we're kind of learning that we need to get ahead of these big problems.
Well, we, in landscaping, I'm thinking, like Aaron and I were just talking about potentially treating the trees and stuff, we need for that.
How much do you think?
John was gonna, when we were gonna give him a little bit more before we lost those properties, he was gonna look at hanging baskets on, Gibson and some of those.
You better double this line item if you want hanging basket.
Double 52?
I'm not even kidding you. There's no irrigation there. You're gonna have Jen watering nonstop.
Well, there is drip lines on
Just on the,
Barstow and on
Only-
Gibson.
so then it's the
The new,
middle
the new,
tree
the new
block.
stuff that might not be in Gibson, I'm not sure, but for sure Barstow has drip lines.
I also think though that
Well,
like,
Barstow has drip lines only from, Gray Street to Main, maybe it's to Grand, and then the rest don't.
Up to Eau Claire Street.
So, and then all the cross streets.
Yeah, well,
I feel
Fine.
like
30K.
flower, like hanging baskets or potentially lighting, I feel like that's like a special project that we would pull out of reserves in a lump sum. Because I wouldn't even know how to add this to
You wanna try to
landscaping. We're
figure
not
out how
doing
much
that.
it would cost per year. 'Cause
Right.
If you're gonna do it, you won't wanna be pulling reserves.
Yeah.
You wanna budget for it.
So that's not something I would include in landscaping until we,
So put that as a suggestion for you guys. in all
Yeah.
landscaping.
I,
I don't think, we never
Totally
get
here
to
for
it,
I'll put it in the good idea
Yeah.
but
folder.
right now we have 45.
Question on landscaping.
Yeah.
Who takes care of spraying of the weeds and the curb and the gutters and
that'd be Jen.
do it? Okay.
Yeah.
And just a side note, she's doing a great job.
Are you getting missed
Water
down there?
Street's looking a little bad.
Guess what? I convinced them, they're doing a walkthrough on Wednesday with 3 different landscapers to get a giant weed removal.
Yeah.
And next year we're doing a maintenance plan.
I think I drove down it Sunday. I was like, whoa.
Yeah, they,
Yeah,
they
it looks
they never
horrendous
do
down there.
anything, so it's good that they're starting to.
Well, and I want to note too, again, because like our district is a lot bigger than just Barstow, like Lake Street. I mean, there's only so much Jen can do with her hours and her budget. So if we want to expand like, the weed spraying and things like that, we do need to,
And this year was crazy with pollen, so things just
Yeah.
came up. But she did, it
I
is
think she's
remarkable the
been going
difference
down,
between
yeah.
South Barstow and then Water Street, because I've been doing kind of the walkabout and taking pictures of both. It was, really.
She does all the tree grates and stuff like that. She hits the suckers on the trees
Well, and
sometimes.
she's here all the time. What's
Oh, it's-
really nice is it's not like a scheduled visit, so she's not coming on the 15th of every month. She's coming out in real time and like addressing it, so I think that's the value you get there.
yeah.
The only thing I guess with the city is that they're not treating the parking lots. The Seaver parking
Oh,
lot,
yeah.
I'm doing my building side of it, but the front side next to the Soldier House, that's not being treated. I guess
I mean, that would
what I have
technically
is
be,
a problem
that's
of-
what I'm saying.
I called the
You
city
guys
and
are financial
talked to
consultants,
maintenance
which
on
is
the stuff, and they
fine,
said, if you wanna do it, go ahead and do it.
Huh.
Because I guess my concern with the amount of homeless laying on the cement and laying on the sidewalks, and I go in there and spray weeds, and, it's possible that they would get something in their mouth that would be not good, so I guess I had a problem with trying to spray the front. I did the side on Sunday.
Huh.
When nobody was around, but,
I do have to say, at our landscape, I think we talked about, the Riverside lot,
Yeah.
and that got all cleared out.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think you were at that meeting, so
I
thank
mean,
you for passing that
and-
forward. It looks really nice.
What did we decide? That just to clear it out now, and
Just
then
to
if
clear it
somebody
out.
in the future wants to try to maintain it, they
Yep.
could?
I mean, it's probably gonna get torn down and that lot gets torn
Right,
down.
yeah, okay.
but in the meantime, it
Yeah.
looks really nice.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
I've been, since sitting in these meetings, I've been noticing the landscaping in the downtown. It does look super pretty. And I
Yeah.
totally agree about Water Street. And I think some of that is the city not replacing the trees that are there. Like there's like a bunch of like super messed up trees. So
Well, they get broken a lot.
Challenge.
I know.
Yeah, the trees do look really bad though, and the suckers haven't been pruned, so it just kind of looks like a big mess.
Yeah.
So hopefully, like I said, they've made plans to address the issue this year with one big cleanup,
Mhm.
after they pick a vendor, and then, next year. I got them to get their budget up to 30,000 from
12 or
well,
something.
11 plus 5.
There's also like something, like just side note, like with the landscaping, we've got some money that came in from Adopter Planner and we're gonna start putting like some bigger shrubs. I don't know if you guys ever noticed, but on the sidewalk side of the tree grates,
Yeah.
they're all flattened out because people walk up there. So we
Yeah.
figured if we could start putting some larger shrubs, maybe it would avoid people from walking into the beds.
Yeah, I talked to.
So we're gonna do like a small start with that, but it would be nice to have the option, a little bit more money in the budget to, if that really works, to do that everywhere.
So try not to do shrubs on the corner parking things because it's hard for people to see. I told Jen about the one in front of mine. I had her trim it. I said, you know, that shrub just doesn't work there very well because it's very difficult to see cars.
Mhm.
And so if she could move that and stick it on a, mid-block one, it'd be fine, but
That
On
one,
the
I don't
corner
think
ones,
will transplant.
shrubs are not good on the corner ones.
Yeah.
You should also potentially talk about pulling the planter, the large plant, extra large planters back a little bit. They're definitely creating, I mean, they're, but a
Yeah.
vision
Oh, God,
issue.
those are beautiful.
Oh, they're amazing. People are stopping.
Did she not pull them back yet?
I don't know. I just.
Cause
know
we
that-
did talk about,
Okay.
and for sure, happy to do it.
Yeah.
I think you're absolutely right.
So much nicer than the ones in front of mine.
Are you guys thinking about doing?
We may,
Oh, just stop it. You are in the shade all day.
yeah, and we've got, I mean, right, that's another thing, like we could keep increasing the larger planters, little bits year by year. I mean, we have a lot of ideas, but
The dog poop in the planters and possibly wanting to do a trial run
we
with.
have a couple signs. We're doing a trial run with some cute little signage that just says like, don't water our plants, you dogs.
Did you, I thought you and Jen talked about like a poop bag.
Or poop bags, you know, yeah. There's, right, those are other ideas. I don't think they would drive up, our budget that
So
much.
that would be a
but
reserve spending thing.
Possibly.
How much
But-
would that cost?
Well, so like in Altoona on River Prairie, if you guys walk, every,
Yeah.
I don't know, 200 yards or something, there's a dog station. So I know in the past when we've talked about it, or when the city had them maybe at the ends of the bridges and things, the difficult part, because they have the disposal poop in there and they had the bags and, it was hard to get them serviced to get the poop out and to replenish the bags. Jen mentioned that she'd carry bags along with her. But I think that so many people are moving downtown, there's not a ton of green space, they're now using the planters for dogs constantly. And so we're seeing some plants dying because of it, but more Jen's just dealing with picking up dog
I mean,
poop all the
they're
time.
gonna pee on them, but I mean, you don't want, you're
You
gonna
don't.
do that no matter what.
Mhm.
Well, the pee is gonna happen, right? And I've been picking up dog poop just like in the middle of the sidewalk. And I think when people are downtown in an urban, this was dog, I'm sure of it.
How do you know?
Yeah, I guess. I do have big
I've
dogs
seen
too,
them
so.
shaking out their legs there. So-
But, yeah, I think that's when it becomes a problem and there's no way to like deal with it, right? And so,
I think it's just bag it, put it in our garbage cans, right? You don't have to have a.
I would recommend
No.
not doing your garbage, but just doing the
Really?
thing that says pick up at the
Who's
dog.
gonna collect it?
Well, it would go in you guys
It's
have
just like
plenty
one
of
of those
cans.
little like, I don't know.
It would be just
Pull
the
out the
bag.
bag.
Yeah, the bag would go into our garbage can.
Yes, yes,
That's what I meant.
yes, not, but sometimes they have like you grab a bag and then they have a little.
Yeah, we don't wanna
adjust-
do that.
No,
right?
Oh, God, no.
because you have so many garbage.
Hey, as long as we're talking about garbage cans and we have a city manager here,
No.
can I bring up what I talked to you about? Why do we not have any city garbage cans at Haymarket Lane in the park there? There's none,
Oh, yeah.
there's none
I
by the
actually was
bridge.
over there the other
There's
day.
none,
We did.
there's none going up by Eau Claire Street. There's none by, where Eau Claire comes around by Grand. I thought there'd be at least maybe a couple of them by the exits. I got an ice cream cone at Olson's, very good, by the way. With my granddaughter. And we went over there and, we ate them and stuff, and honest to God, I scoured everywhere. There is not a can anywhere. So we're carrying around these napkins full of ice cream everywhere until we could find a can. The city has no collection of garbage cans in Haymarket Lane.
Yep,
We
that is true.
from my view, it has the two industrial sized ones normally there.
Which corner?
Like right in front of, outside of Pablo.
Industrial size?
You know, like, not like metal cans like you guys have, but the regular bins are there
Dumpster
normally.
thing?
No,
That'd
it's
be
like
like on
the
the
totes,
back side of Pablo?
I,
it's like right in front of the dorm, right in front of the bus stop. That's
I don't
normally
think
there.
so.
okay, that's on Eau Claire Street. That would be on Eau Claire Street.
You're like where the parking ramp is for the apartments?
You go walk over there.
He's saying in the
Go
plaza.
In
get an ice
Haymarket
cream.
Oh, I know.
Plaza.
Go get an ice cream cone first and walk around, try to find out where you're gonna put your garbage. I'm just telling you, there's no
Okay.
garbage cans anywhere.
I can check on it, but when I go through there and then there's, from my view, there's usually the trash bins right in front of Pablo, the back of Pablo in Haymarket Plaza.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I go to that splash pad all the time with my boys
Yeah.
and I run into the
There's
same
no
thing where I'm
garbage
like,
cans.
where?
Okay, I'll
usually
ask
do it
about it.
at,
I was thinking you'd probably have two by the, all the things that keep the cars out there on the rounded corner with Eau Claire and Grand.
Yeah,
You know,
that's
they could
where
have two at the exit.
Yeah,
You could potentially have one, you know, maybe over by the footbridge.
you're talking
Well,
about totes. Like-
I'm talking about garbage cans like our garbage cans, or
Oh.
something a city would put out there that they could collect. What do you have in Phoenix Park?
They have the regular,
The
like,
big rectangular totes.
the plastic ones, like you have at your house.
Oh, those ugly things?
Yeah.
Serious?
So do we
Well, they
wanna-
gotta be able to move them around when there's events and
Yeah.
stuff. So they, like in Phoenix, they're all lined up against the,
Yeah,
the service building, the
No, I
bathroom.
wouldn't want those, or I thought decorative ones.
I think the city just does the totes and
They
you
do,
guys do
yeah.
the decorative ones.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to add two more, is that possible?
Not me.
Fun, funky. Okay, so garbage
All right.
cans, so just a update on garbage cans. I have been talking to Erin Nicholson because we kind of need to count, on what's left in storage. You guys have a few of your cans that are missing lids, that still have the split liners.
They
So
aren't, they aren't our cans.
the city has cans that the
That we
bid
keep
pays
in
the
storage.
service to,
Mhm.
that need new liners and new tops. And I don't believe there's any more at, well, there's gonna be some at storage, but it's limited. North Barstow also needs to switch out theirs because they still have the split liners and those heavy tops that you guys got rid of.
Mhm.
So I'm still waiting on that. I'm gonna give him a little nudge, but also a couple months ago, I asked him to replace the garbage can on the corner of Graham and Lake. That got hit by a car. I have photos of it if you guys need to see, but it is ruined. It's dented. So it's been there for months. He did say it was on his plan to fix, and then I followed up with him. He's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this hasn't been done. But by yesterday, it's still there. So two things from this. It needs to be replaced. I am hoping there's one in storage that will just be brought out. If there were no cans in storage, who's responsible for buying more? And when this happens, so we didn't get a police report, maybe it was a hit and run, I don't know. But I had a window of time when it could have happened, when it was there, wasn't. And when I talked to Dave Solberg about it, really the only answer was for me to pull like a freedom of information request to see if this can have been hit. And I don't want to do any of that. You know, that's just ridiculous. We just need a new can. But normally it would be on the driver's insurance if they had it.
You-
And the
you
city
call
would pursue that for you.
Would they?
I don't know.
I
I
don't-
assume,
I don't think
since
they
you don't
would,
have
but-
lawyers.
I think they would, but.
No, but I think the point here, Stephanie, is we still need kind of that MOU of like, you know, if it's above ground, is it us? Like the
Okay.
electric box? Is it a
Right.
tree? Is it the city?
Yeah, I got you.
And so just needing to know what to do in those moments. So if you guys, if there is no can in storage.
And the cans and the amenities are not bid related, the benches, all that kind of stuff, that was all done respectful assessments when the Barstow was redone, so it was all charged to the property taxpayers, like all of us paid for that, for a special assessment.
Okay.
To become part of the city.
And
So
the bid
that's
managed.
that's the difference there, is the bid did not pay and buy those, that was done on property tax.
So you want basically itemization of which things,
And
who maintains or who pays for or whatever?
Yeah, more for issues like this. So like when the
I've got
can
a
gets
whole-
hit and it
yeah.
now needs to be replaced, that there's kind of like a protocol of like what to do. So the same when that tree got in front of Tangled,
Yeah,
we spent so many meetings trying to figure out if it's,
We never did come to any start.
yeah, does the bid replace
Right.
it? Does the driver who didn't have insurance replace? Like, how do we go about getting that replaced and who's responsible?
Okay.
So I
There's
think
a-
for those
there's a
shared amenities.
Laundry list of things, I mean irrigation, that, the garbage can.
Yeah, and it's just coming into play.
There's just things where we've been running
Yeah.
into a lot this year specifically.
okay.
Or if the bid invests on public property, whose does it become then, right?
How do
Like
we
the
go
top-
about, an MOU with the city? Is that like paperwork we can draft up and then have legal look at it, or like, do we work on it together?
I think if we made a list, if we could make a list of all the question marks, then
Sure.
probably we would want our community services people in the room to figure out and then just divvy it up, like.
Yeah. It's not a huge conversation. It's just,
Yeah.
whose is it, is really what we.
Yeah,
need to
and I have,
clarify.
we can
Ownership.
facilitate.
It really goes down to ownership, who owns it now. I mean, we paid for it, but it's now permanently held on city property. City probably.
Mhm.
Right.
I think. So-
Well, but if that's the case, then you just like, this is all a gray area, because if the city said, okay, well, we own it, but we can't afford to maintain it, so we're gonna
Right.
like remove it, then that would be, you guys would still want us to be able to say, no, we really, it's a,
We
like,
want benches.
just take like the trash bins. If the city's like, yeah, we will be happy to provide trash bins everywhere, but they're going to be the, rubber totes or whatever. So if you're like, yeah, that's fine, then, you know what I mean? Like, you sort of have to decide which things you want to be
Right.
like more special than what the city is gonna do by default,
Right, like, they're not necessarily gonna go install iron garbage can, on Hastings Way. So I think that's where the bid is deciding that this is important to us. We wanna have decorative cans that all match on every corner and recycling. So,
So we just
but I
need
do
to,
think once they're purchased, like, how do we then deal when it's ruined by someone else and not
Yeah.
you, right?
do we
Like,
just request a meeting with,
I will work on setting that
Okay.
up.
yeah.
And then just Aaron, I don't know
It'd
if
be
you
nice
wanna
to
do
go
it
into
with all
next
the
year
bids
with
at
these
the same
questions
time.
answered.
Maybe we could get the bid chairs to all agree to come to a meeting. I think it's gonna become more of a problem as Water Street now is gonna be spending some money and doing more.
Right.
It would just be nice to have answers on those things.
Mhm.
And apparently my street is a hotspot for things to happen, but we're gonna tangle.
Yes, it is.
But, yeah, honestly, this conversation started almost like 18 months ago, 2 years ago, and kind of set us up to where we are now, where it was like, hey, wait a second. Bids aren't really doing everything right, Decky's not really doing everything right. And so, because we had requested an MOU for this,
Mhm.
and that's when, like, the legal conversation started. So we've come a full circle, and I think we've got things a little bit more clear now that these questions can start being answered.
Quite literally, a lot of shit went down here. And so like, now we're gonna have like a steel proof, like MOU, because
I
I
think
think
it helps
upsets.
us get to now these questions
Yeah.
and be able to answer them based on some of these
Exactly.
things.
Question, I guess, as long as we drifted kind of into trash cans, is that the 6 and the 700 block of South Barstow across from the Soldier House, the parking lot, that whole area. There was a rogue trash can there for a while, rubber tote kind of a thing. And I've been talking to the street ambassadors and they didn't know who it belonged to, but
Trash.
the homeless people were being trained to put stuff in it and pile stuff by it. And at this point, a positive comment, I guess, would be is that the street ambassadors have physically been going there almost daily, picking up
Wow.
the huge amount of trash left by the homeless through the night, and taking it places. So I guess I understand that's like a $200,000 2-year program, and after that it'll be gone. So I guess the question will be is, if there should be some kind of larger trash cans or multiple trash cans put around the Soldier and House area so that they can be used by the homeless. There's still a number of, it looks like a frat house party.
It's
every
crazy, I know.
morning.
So that garbage can, Billy Hufford had requested to put one there a while ago from the city, but that the bid would pay for it to be picked up, I believe.
I don't
The
remember
bid?
that.
Maybe not. Well, otherwise the city would have to come independently. But there's a problem with the garbage can that is outside of Sojourner.
Yeah,
It's getting filled, like, could be filled multiple times a day, right?
Yeah.
And so Sojourner's supposed to be emptying it
yeah.
when they have staff, when they're available. So it is a pretty big
So
problem.
Sojourner's a private business, right? Just like we all are.
Right.
So why would the city or the bid pay to empty their garbage?
No, there's a city can out there, not a city can, sorry. Well, an iron can was there, but then they brought in one of the rolling cans, the city did at one point, but yeah, you're right, it's gone now.
Yeah.
So the Turner had an agreement that they would try to empty it at least once a day, or like morning and night, and then because it was getting overfilled.
But they're not required to do that. And
We can't force anyone to do
yeah.
it, right?
Isn't there
It's possibly
ordinances-
not even getting.
There is ordinances in the
Right
city
now.
that just probably aren't being enforced on garbage pickup and removal. I mean,
Well, they-
that's certainly out there.
It's a problem for them because they're trying to help and it's not like, they can't solve all of the problems, but they're just, you know what I mean? So it's like,
So they just create new ones.
Well, overall, that whole
Um,
area is a problem.
yeah,
Aaron met recently with a task force that's being created, with the police
Yeah.
department, kind of all different groups of people to address specifically Wilson Park
Mhm.
and your
Seaver,
property
yep.
and Seaver, yeah. I believe, you just had 2 meetings, yesterday was the second one.
Yesterday they actually met out there, I
Okay.
believe at 11 AM. I know Bridget was there for a
Mhm.
couple hours afterwards. Trying to do some outreach,
Yeah.
talk to people about what you can do and what you can't.
So they're really trying to coordinate with code enforcement because like the Haas property on the corner, that's so problematic for people, throwing trash and it just doesn't look good, it's not like they haven't been noticed that property is not up to
And
code.
that's up for sale as well.
Right.
As well as Metro, as well as my property.
Yeah.
I've been- I've owned-
Jason businesses out of downtown.
I've owned it 30+ years. I don't want to sell it, but I can't get a tenant. It's gone, it's never been worse than it is now.
I'm so
Mm.
sorry, Steve.
Yeah.
So frustrating.
One, what you do need is businesses down there to, kind of keep from congregating,
Exactly, yeah.
happening, so that's unfortunate too. We start shoving everybody out. It's just. It's
You know,
become a
When
bigger hideout.
Sojourner went through this addition or whatever they did, that was the time we could have moved them out of there and let them spend their money a little bit further away from downtown. But I remember as part of that, they weren't gonna increase the beds. Well, I'll bet you that all changed.
Oh, yeah, they kept the double
So
bed.
we all knew that was a bunch of crap. So they doubled the size and the city allowed them to double their bed size. And now they have more people there. I mean, it
Well,
was,
we're for
go look
drifting,
at the zoning and all that stuff. It was all supposed to be.
Yeah, it's here.
if we're drifting down to that angle just a little bit, I'd just like to comment that at the initial approving process by the plan commission and by the city council, there were conditions based on them being accepted. And none of those standards have ever been met, never been enforced, never been done, but it continues on a daily basis.
it just, you just say that, just be sure if you have concerns to communicate with the city council because there's a lot of, activism around empathy and stuff like that. So like
Yeah.
if you want more stricter enforcement, people will need to communicate to it's like a policy question basically. And
Can't you administratively do that if it's already been approved by the plan commission and there's conditions set forth? I don't think you need council approval to do that.
yeah,
Now, they
well,
might not
if
be
I
happy
want
about
to,
it.
if I want to keep my job, if anybody was there for the Wilson Park issue last year, it was basically,
Yeah,
we had
you
to
did a
go.
good job.
Well, we had to go on an apology tour and we were standing there and the park was full of like the media and activists and people were screaming at us and
Yeah,
stuff
that
like.
one lady that looked like she was holding the Bible was talking about poor me, and she was a California, I worked for a stock market in California. She's a huge druggie. Her husband and her kid is, all of them are, it's admitted, and she was standing up to like, I'm holier than thou.
Yeah.
It's the information that I found, it costs typically $35,000 to take care of a homeless person
Huh.
per year. And we're up to now close to 100 people. That's how much it's costing, and that cost is the police department.
Right.
It's the ambulance service, it's the fire department, it's the hospitals.
It's losing businesses.
It's losing businesses. It's starting to swing. I've been one of the oldest owners in downtown area, and it's forcing me out.
Mm.
I have to be under $10 a square foot to a possible renter. And I'm competing with $40 a square foot for new construction.
Are we, it's a little bit down the line, but what's happening with the day shelter? Because with things moving
Last I
down
heard,
this
it's now
way,
springtime before it possibly opens up, and there's 6.5 million.
I mean, it doesn't fix the problem, but at least it's something.
It
to look
might
forward to.
change it, yeah.
So a few things. Obviously you're at the bid meeting and you should really think about what parts of this is a bid issue. So the real parts that are a bid issue is that you have business owners, property owners who have invested for 30 years into this area and district and have paid his bid dues. And what is the bid, because we can't control the city actions, but what is the bid willing to do in this area to help support his problem? Not necessarily a problem of the unhoused, And not because we shouldn't have humanity and empathy and understanding, but it is impacting our livelihoods and our business, and we pay taxes, and the bid is there to help support. So we've admitted we haven't done any work on that end, because when we put planters down there, they get prevented. When we put garbage cans down there, they're overflowing.
Mhm.
What
I mean, that's not fair to you or, business
well,
owners down there.
think of Laura at Shift, sandwiched between the metro and that building, and trying to hang on in a difficult economic time. I do think there's some things that the bid could do to activate that area, maybe invest in. I know that you guys heard this before, but the pass through that, the alleyway between Shift and, well, what's on the other side, Luminary Wellness, your buildings, that's very complicated, and they wanted to put up a fence that needed to be available to emergency vehicles, and it cost $1,000 or something.
Which is crazy.
It
I feel like they need a second.
But it's for the, so that it's all right. So those businesses over there are desperately still trying to figure out how to do that. They have, each of the businesses are committed to putting money in, but maybe they'd be looking for a match from someone, and then that area can be improved. And then maybe so I just really want you guys to think about how the bid can influence what they can in that district and put pressure on that way. Because once we start making those changes, and if Wilson Park, for instance, outside of your bid, but if we had things going on there, like McDonough had with the pickleball court, or if we put in a dog run, you'd have people going there to use it that live downtown, and it wouldn't be comfortable to stay there anymore.
Exactly.
These are all like really long-term things, but as far as the bid's concerned, you go right up to Emery Street. What can you do in that 3-4 block radius?
I don't know if any of you guys go to Rick's, but that poor guy gets forgotten about too. He's getting his butt handed to him.
Yeah,
He's got people stealing just stuff off his counter and using his bathrooms, and that's just not right. That we're not giving support. They're part of our district.
Right.
And
And Brent
we've
Douglas
ignored
is a
it.
good example too.
Fred Douglas too.
And he's invested a lot of time and talent into the downtown. And again, I do think there's a show of support the bid can have in that area. I don't think you're gonna fix all the problems, but I do think paying attention to that area and trying to impact it a little might make a difference.
Do you guys think, because I think we're kind of on a tangent and we gotta
Yeah.
go back to budget, but,
Yeah, we do.
Beautification.
do you guys, do you think that it would be beneficial if, we invited those businesses to, next school board meeting or something and said, hey, can you guys just speak to what's happening to you and start a conversation for us
A
on,
long conversation about it, probably not so much, I don't know.
They have a lot
I
of
think not the
documentation.
next one's because we're.
but if I invited them to one of our meetings, would that be?
I think you should invite the council members, or think of a forum where
That could even be like an ad hoc meeting. It wouldn't have to necessarily be a full board.
From talking to Laura recently, it is urgent at this point. They've been waiting for a long time for some help and support, and they're just not getting it. So I think an ad hoc meeting, even if it's not the full board, but you're there, I think it's important that you hear what they're going through.
Everybody
Jackie
thinks-
could support them.
We could, we could.
I know, you hear from a lot of people oh, we have an issue downtown. Nobody has an issue like Steve or Brent Douglas
Right.
or Shift has an issue. That is a whole different game. And I
Yeah.
think those voices need to be
Absolutely.
my impression.
and focused on.
My impression, and I don't know if it's right or not, but my impression is that the block by block effort has made the rest of the downtown feel more normal, and that area feel even more, it's concentrated the issues in that area. And that
100%.
has pros and cons, but I do know that the DRC is gonna have outdoor space, so maybe that would, there might be some hope that that there could be outdoor space for people to hang out in, so they're not in Wilson Park or the Seaver lot during the day,
Yeah, it's been interesting. I'll drop it. Just one last comment is that, like I said, I've been in the area a long time with my own business even, and the last couple of months I've been down there repainting the inside of the suite and everything, and I've talked to different people that are, I guess, classified as homeless or whatever. And what I've seen, the difference is that I've never seen before is that this is their area now. They'll holler profanity across the street at each other. They'll walk in the street threatening up their own people. It's their area. The police come in to move them away, and 10 minutes later they're back. It's their area. That's where it's at. And the taxpayers, we don't stand a chance. I talked to Hope Gospel, And, I've dealt with them before. I sold them two buildings over on Frank Street that they turned into a women's shelter and everything. And that's been successful. So I know the higher end people. And I talked to them and their words to me was sell your property. Life's too short. It ain't worth it. And I'm all about Eau Claire, and that's, I'm invested, I have over 150,000 square feet of office space. And so I'm not going anyplace, but I won't go downtown.
And that gets into a question for Stephanie, because we just, got numbers on our mill rate. And according to what Aaron brought us from everybody, the assessed value for all our properties actually decreased this year downtown. Which I've never seen the assessed value decrease downtown. Now, why is that? Why is that happening?
I don't know.
No, I don't either.
We would have had to lose
I
property.
mean, it actually has never,
He's like $1 million worth of
well,
assessment.
besides that, there's automatic, it goes up every year anyway for everybody pretty much, right?
Yeah.
So I have no idea why it did, but it could start to be, some of this stuff is starting to factor in. I don't know, but it's concerning to us because it does affect our budget, so.
Are you able to document or take pictures? I'll be honest, between having Chippewa and events and Eau Claire stores, it's hard to always see everything. So if you're able to see, I think if we were to do a meeting, they're gonna be like, they're gonna listen, but sometimes visuals are more impactful.
Yeah, we got them. You take a picture on your cell phone, it ain't the same as seeing it,
Right.
because your eye kind of zooms in, but, and the difference between Chippewa Falls and Eau Claire is getting more dramatic. I own 3 buildings on Bridge Street, and you see it too. I mean, Chippewa Valley took the stance a few years ago that we're not messing around with homeless. We're shipping you guys out of here. And Chippewa now is actually a very safe, very secure place to do a business compared to downtown here. You're always looking over your back to stay safe, because these drug addicts don't even know how they're gonna react. Whether they're gonna stab you with something, whether they're gonna threaten you verbally, they don't even know themselves. And the stance that we took a few years ago at some of these meetings was the police was saying, oh, they're just like you, don't worry, they're just down in their luck, there's no problem. That's not the truth of it. And they show up with 3 officers, 2 cars, 3 officers with guns and mace and tasers and everything else, and we're supposed to act the same way as they're acting towards these people. It's impossible.
I say it all the time. It's not like we can't trust human. It's just you can't trust drug use and mental health as undiagnosed.
It's
It's
policy
scary.
decisions, but it is city council members, that have,
We'll set up an ad hoc
Yeah,
meeting.
think
I
about
do
those
think that
things
this has
differently
gotten
than
to
we
a
do.
point that I think
quite honestly.
it's at the height of its worst, and I think, let's get you all at a table.
Okay, enough talking.
Yeah,
Enough
enough of that.
Enough of that.
Right,
Sorry,
tangent.
No, I totally get it, and I just wish I knew what to do about it. I mean,
I don't think there's an answer. It's across the whole
it
country.
is, yeah.
And I've been doing a lot of research over the last few months on
Yeah.
stuff on statistics and even other areas, other countries that say they're handling it. They're not handling it. I think at some point, I just heard LA the other day that the majority of their businesses are shut down now in LA.
You have San
Graffiti.
Francisco too, right?
Boards, yeah. So the
We
liberal
don't
stance
want it to
is
happen.
not necessarily working. We all hoped it would have, but it doesn't work. And sometimes, I was in the military for 8 years. Sometimes getting kicked in the ass is a good
Yeah.
thing.
City council would, I agree with Stephanie on that. I don't think you get very far doing anything more punitive than.
Somebody, just to keep communicating with them, because we just really only hear it from one side. I mean,
Right.
they only hear it from one side.
And a lot of times they think businesses are just against everybody. And
Well, I think that's how it started when we had that meeting at Pablo years ago.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It felt very much like we just need to inform the business community that this isn't a problem and this is why.
Yeah.
And when the businesses had questions, we almost came off as kind of like jerks, and it took a long time, and that's where Ambassador came from,
Yeah.
the idea of it, but it was like, we care too. We know these people maybe even better
Yeah.
than you because they're in our businesses
Yeah.
every day.
Right.
However, we still have to balance that with people's impressions of our business being safe, our staff being safe, our properties being damaged, there's so much going into it. So obviously there's sides all around.
But, I just see where Eau Claire's growing and still doing really well and stuff. And I think a lot of that is a big factor of what we've all done downtown here and how things have developed here. So if we don't take care of that and continue to nurture it, that affects the growth, it affects the income, it affects the revenue that the
Right.
city's bringing in. So it is interrelated.
Yeah, right, it's not, I mean, and there's like, I think a lot of businesses that are scared to speak up, because then it
Yeah.
makes them look like they don't care. You know, and in fact, they do, they care a hell of a lot about downtown, but, you know, yeah, so I think to have kind of a safe space where the businesses can just speak to the real time, what is actually happening,
Mhm.
without any advocates in the room that are gonna say, well, you don't, you know, you obviously don't care then about these people, like, cause that's not the point, I think,
Right.
that we need to try to make.
Yeah.
You know,
If we keep the budget the same.
okay, let's move on
If
to,
the budget's the same, we have $4,500 that we haven't reallocated yet from those top two.
and then we go to
That we
landscape.
could, I would put it in landscaping.
Where are you at with lighting and maintenance? I mean,
I
are
think
you
we're-
using up your
We're
full
fine.
budget?
I don't want to lose any of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
But we're within that. Sure, we can keep doing what we're doing and have a little bit extra, you know, the bad years when they gotta restring trees or something is gonna,
Yeah.
I think we'll still push some money into the reserve.
Okay. Sponsorship, that seems to be
That's
pretty much only sculpture. Are we satisfied with that?
You.
Okay.
Is that where the artwork was gonna come from? It was like let's figure 2,000 or something gonna be spent on,
Oh, that was gonna be for mural.
right?
Yeah, and that
But is that,
building owner changed hands and the whole thing fell apart. So no, that wasn't under sponsorships. That was a Decky grant.
Yeah, and the Decky grant is actually staying with that building, because when John applied for it, it was specific to that building and the transit center project. So, yes, so the owners of that building are still planning a mural. The 2000 stays with them. I think they have to do some fundraising, so it'll be next year.
So, okay, so we increase landscaping by 4,500. That would be left over from that other material supplies and outreach.
Lighting sponsorship should stay the same. The
Bid
big,
staff
the big,
support. stays
that's,
the
that's a
same.
big, that's a big question right there. That's a question.
Is it?
It is.
Well, it is. So decisions will need to be made about like, you know, how you want to work with Decky. So last year you guys ended up giving a portion of your money as sponsorship to downtown events. And then, you know, the remaining that we had for like our 6-month contract.
6250 we paid out monthly. And then 33,750 we allocated in monies towards events.
Right.
could we regroup on
And that was a
what you
disaster.
figure you're gonna do for us?
Yeah, so,
If I share something quick with Stephanie,
Yeah.
I'm on Chippewa's bid board as well for the downtown area. And how we work there, and I've been on it for 10 years, we have somebody like Aaron, Terry, that takes care of the downtown area for us. We meet 2 times a year.
Huh.
We give her half of the budget, our total budget, so the 178,000. We give her half in the spring and half in the fall. And we can ask her questions. She produces reports to us. She says how that money's being spent. We see everything. She comes with us a projection to see what money's gonna be spent next year for what. So everything we're talking about now is not presented to us from the city, but it's presented to us from Becky. And the city then does the approval and mill rate. We as board members, we submit the request to the city if we're gonna raise the amount received or not received. So what we're kind of forming here now is something like that.
Mhm.
So I think Dave and some other people, you know, this is all new, so we're kind of running with training wheels a little bit here, but I guess, and I feel a little bit more of letting Aaron run with the ball perhaps than Dave does. Because he doesn't have the confidence in the program, I guess. I think he has confidence in Aaron, no question there. But, you know, you're setting up a business. You're making a brand new business that Aaron's running. She don't even know what some of the costs are compared to for what she was doing before. So we're kind of walking slowly.
But you told me in Chippewa though, this one, you told me in Chippewa was 40 grand. You don't pay it or 40 grand. You don't
We
give
give her
her
the
40 grand.
whole, we give her a whole 178.
Right, and,
Well, part of
so-
it is salary.
yeah, but it's all budgeted. Is there like
twice a year.
Is there part of it for support staff or something, is part of your budget? Because you said they raise their own money, if they want more money, they do
Yes.
fundraisers, they do,
Yes.
they do all that?
If the 178 doesn't cut it for them, they go and they raise money through events, Santa Claus wagon rides and other
Yeah.
events that she fundraising.
Which
I
is
need-
what Decky's currently doing.
And I also need to say, like, I think we need to stop thinking that $40,000 is giving us personal administrative work from Becky. Some of that is just donation because of the things.
Can't
that
say
they do.
donation.
Contribution, right. So a lot like we did last year, we put what, 33,000 to sponsoring different events, and then we did 6,000's worth of, administrative. Obviously, that needs to go up because I think that barely got us any administrative work. So we do need to figure out where those dollars need to be separated, but this 40 isn't just for administrative. And I
Right.
think that's where it gets a little confusing because.
But without your 40, Decky would be in not a good place. So the major difference between downtown Chippewa and downtown Eau Claire is that we have 4 bids that we are now looking to do what Steve described with. So that's 4 businesses that we are running that all have different missions, purposes, interests, investments. So it's a lot of work for one group to do that so differently. If we were one big bid, we'd have a lot of money, it would be a big area to cover, but at least there'd only be like one direction, right? So I'm trying to figure out what makes sense. So historically, North and South Barstow have given the most money, and way back, and I know that Steve might have been on the board too then, but Dave for sure. When South Barstow first started, their contribution to Becky always was for 2 reasons, for Summerfest and Fall Festival. And that was it. And that was kind of like, well, if you're gonna have 2 events in our street, here's the money, that's all. Obviously, we've changed a lot and come away with a lot of other things. Now that we have to kind of be very specific with the city on and how we're spending money and what we're doing, this is kind of where it came out to. We had to figure out an hourly rate that we charge, which we never had to do before, which is $85. And that's really cheap for what we're getting. But Water Street, like you said, in the past gave us $2,700. They have upped that. They're gonna pay us $1,000 a month for service, basically to pay for the services we provide. That gives them roughly 2 to 3 hours a week of my time working on projects for them. We'll set up a contract for that. Any additional money, if they want to have an event, that would come out of a different line item for sponsorships and things. For them specifically, the agreement is $1,000 a month to host their webpage, come to their meetings, to run their financials. They want me to spend their money. It's definitely not enough. It's a really cheap rate for what we do. For you guys, it has to be more than that because I'm spending vastly more time here because there's more work to do here. So I would look at it as you should decide on an amount that you would contribute to a downtown org that we can use to just exist and do things in your district. And then I think we should figure out how many hours of my time we want monthly, which includes not just sitting in this meeting, obviously, but prepping for it beforehand, creating things, and calculate that out.
We also say that the 85 is not just for you, that's a 1.75 cent. That includes
That's
all of the
everything.
staffers. So it's not like Eric's just getting 85. Clarify.
You have to trust the mission of Decky to want to support it. There is not enough time in the day to prove to you or to Water Street that I am doing X, Y, and Z exactly at that moment when you need it. I'm doing like things for the greater good of all of the downtown, and then I'm helping the bids get their work done, which is something you guys cannot do without someone really like pushing that ball forward, right? At the Water Street meeting, Jed said it really well. He's like, this room is full of treasure and talent, but what we don't have is time. And we need someone to take what we have here, our ideas, the fact that we want to engage our district this way, and then take the time to do the work. That's me. So unless you want to do it on your own, which is totally fine, but we know what that's going to be like for getting quotes and for getting work done, even like this irrigation problem that cannot just be handled is insane. The amount of time that Nikki had to spend navigating the situation that she ultimately has no control over. That's where I would come into play. So North Barstow is looking at giving Decky a total of $50,000. They added an additional 10 for marketing services. And then we are going to spend their money. So they're investing in Decky for the service, for the work, you know, and then we're doing their finances. So you guys can do whatever you want. I'm absolutely requesting the 40,000 again. How it takes shape, I think would be probably a little bit smarter to move potentially 20,000 into your sponsorship line.
So just doing some like simple math here, right? We got 85 an hour for you and extra staff to do things. Even at like 10 hours a week, I mean, you're gonna sit through a meeting with us today for 2 hours, and that's basically doing nothing, right? I mean, we're obviously being here, but that's not doing any of the actual work. 10 hours a week is not that unreasonable. And even at that, with the $85 an hour, that brings us to 44,000. So we're really only paying for like 9 hours a week at this point. I mean, if we're looking at it that way. Do we think we're getting that in staff time?
Is it necessary for her to come to all these meetings?
I didn't want to come today. To be honest. I have so much to do that this is really putting a dent in my home time tonight with my kids. But you know why I can't? Because
To get the 40,000.
Steve, let's be real.
I know.
I care more about this downtown than probably anyone in this room, no offense. But I do. It's like my passion. No, I'm not coming to this meeting because I feel I have to. It's important. You guys have a lot of important things going on, and I want to keep moving that ball forward, right?
I know we all have done a lot of work in the last year. I think a lot of us might appreciate doing less work. Me, for instance, I've got kids. You got 2 businesses, 3 businesses or whatever it is. I don't know what number you have, but you know, we all could do a little less than we've been doing. I mean, the point is, and you've made this point at like outreach meeting, we shouldn't be doing so much of the work. We should just be making the decisions and using our talents that way.
Well, we never get to the point of what we're formed for. And that's to make businesses better in our area. We never have a discussion on that. And that's what we're supposed to be doing with the talent that we have and the business owners, the experience everybody has in the room. We talk about planters, we talk about 2,000 here, 2,000 that. In the meantime, businesses are going out of business.
Exactly.
And we're never getting to what we're supposed to be doing.
Yes.
So how would you solve that?
We gotta give more workload. The only scenario I see is the comparison of Chippewa Falls. I'm concerned about this hourly wage thing.
That needs to.
And I guess
Well, that's because you guys had to.
We have to.
They had to set an hourly.
Chippewa
wage.
Falls is a contract. She does, whether it takes you 5 hours a week or 100 hours a week to do the job, that's what it takes you to do the job. And she is it can be a guy, that person is an individual that is the heart of the downtown. You are the one that's gonna be called by somebody that's looking for 5,000 square feet of office space. You're the one that's gonna get the call from somebody that has a 2,000 square foot store and they can't make their ends meet anymore because of the homeless. You're the one getting called because the trash ain't getting picked up. You're the one getting called that's gonna help us with lights out or maintenance out.
Yeah.
Today, you should have been here just presenting the report, what the mill rate is, what you think you need, and then we agree with that we're gonna push this at the meeting, that the mill rate needs to go up. And then we go to the meeting and we tell everybody the mill rate goes up because this is what she needs to function. That's what I see in my head.
Yeah.
But now if you're an hourly person and the clock's ticking every time you're setting someplace, then the question starts coming into, can we afford you?
Right. So I haven't been operating that way, clearly. I do the work when I need to, and I'm doing more work than I'm getting paid for by the contract. That was something, and again, maybe this is taking shape differently. There were so many things that changed from when we started this process till now. I mean, that was something that was required and then wasn't and then was. And so honestly, what I think makes sense, and this is what I'm trying to do with Water Street too, I use the hourly as just a gauge to give them an idea of what they could get for it.
Mhm.
But truthfully, it is a contract, you know, for this much money, this is what I am doing. I'm coming to your meetings, I'm advising on budget, I'm going to meet with vendors, you know, those are the things I'll do. If it takes more than 2 hours a week, it takes more than 2 hours a week. I mean,
We're
I've
gonna
already
wind
went over
up
my budget.
Paying her for 10 hours
Yeah.
and we're gonna get 25 out of it. I mean, that's,
Well, absolutely.
we just, yeah. I mean,
Well, it'd be the end results. Can she survive with the staff she needs to do the stuff we need? And if you can't, you divide the math out and this is how much more everybody contributes to
Steve,
the
you're
pool.
familiar with how North Barstow is operating with Becky? Is that any different than how Chippewa operates, like where they're giving?
I think
budget
Chippewa's is
running?
a little bit
We give Chip, we give Harry the whole $170,000.
Right off the bat.
Right off the bat.
Okay.
She tells us how she's gonna spend the money ahead of time. And then we determine the mill rate of what it's gonna be for the next year. And she's been turned down. She wanted 5,000-10,000 more last year and they turned her down. Personally, I don't think they should have, but the board decided that that's what was gonna happen.
Sure.
And so she said, well, we'll find the money someplace. Or she tightens the string and does less. But she has to survive. And something else I'd like to add is that Erin is a rock star. I mean, she is like #1 draft choice. She's a business person that has been here a long time. She's been in the bid for a long time and ran it for a long time. If you couldn't find anybody better to sit on that chair that she's in, it would be her. Because we've interviewed a half a dozen people in Chippewa, and it's not an easy job.
I also have to say too, I mean, the thing that just scares me to a level too is, I mean, we get new members all the time. We lost John last year. I mean, you're always talking about retirement for this thing. We don't have a lot of people that have got the historical knowledge of everything that's happened and know all these little tiny details that you just know from being on the bid for so many years. That it would be nice to have some consistency of information held somewhere, you know, and that you don't have to keep training as somebody new every so many years.
What happens when you're
Well, you can't.
That'd be a problem.
That would be
a huge problem.
But you'd have everything at least housed in one space. you know?
What Decky is doing from moving away from the city, becoming totally independent nonprofit, becoming nimble, now we can be this agent for the bid. We could not be that before because of the executive director position being the city. It was like, you couldn't. What we're doing now is we're turning the page. It's brand new. We have to get the details worked out, you know, so everything's done legally, but we're finally in the position where we can do what Chip was doing. We could not do that before. So I'm growing Decky. My hope isn't just for the next year or two, it's for long term. So yeah, of course I'm not gonna be here forever. Losing Matt is terrifying, but I'm not trying to replace Matt. I'm just trying to continue the mission.
Matt's leaving?
Matt's moving to Chicago. Do you live under a rock?
I'm
My
like
Lord.
way swamped. I don't pay attention. Not on
After
Facebook.
After fall back. I'm still trying to convince him to work with us in contract, but really, as Steve described, I'm growing a business. The goal would be that I leave Decky better than when I came. And I firmly believe that cities of our size, the types of investments that the bids are making, cannot operate without an organization like Decky or a downtown group. Because it's too complex, everything takes too long. You're gonna go back to 3 years ago when you had ideas for projects that never. And we need someone to be that activating agent. So if it's not me, I hope to leave this, again, organized in a way that someone can step in. And I do think one of the unique things that happened, not that like Dustin wasn't great and these people aren't great, but you have a business owner who is invested in the downtown serving in this position. I have strategies to think about that you just can't understand unless you've lived it, right? If you don't have a property that has issues with unhoused tenants, or you don't know what it's like to run the register for 10 years. You know what I mean? There's a different perspective. And so I think that's what I'm trying to build into Decky is this really the understanding of the business needs and why that is important to a vibrant downtown. Planters are great. I love them. Lights are great. But it's the businesses that are here that actually make it. And if we don't support them, and I've said this at every meeting, I keep wanting to call them our small business investors, and not owners, because they are time, talent, energy, money every day into our community. Losing those people and those connections is what's going to change the overall downtown. So
I have to say too, you know, as far as, like working with the city, obviously we're housed within the city, so we're always gonna need that relationship. In the time that I've even been chair, I mean, and Erin, you're the best, by the way. But there's been probably 3 or 4 people that you've had to try to grab new information from, and that's not even been consistent. So that's been really tough.
changing quite a bit.
Staff has been changing a lot, and that might always keep up that way for all we know. So again, consistency.
How's your position selected? If you have a plan, you see you're gonna stay here for this position for a while? Getting burnt out right now. I don't wanna select, I don't like agree with anything else.
yeah.
A year, you're staying.
Oh, no, this is like my dream job. I wish I got paid a little more, but No, I love it. I wouldn't stay out of it if I could. I was doing this work before I had the job, and that's why it makes sense to me. I kind of outgrew my business, Tangled more than this is kind of like the realm I want to be in. And if it's not here, I want it to be in Montclair.
You're also a small business owner. Like, the work is not always gonna be this hard. You're building. These are the first couple years of your new business. You know what I mean? Like,
It's a lot of time.
it's a lot of time.
conversation.
And I know it's gonna get better, but
There really is a difference to have a face and a voice that you can talk to about things. If you're a purchaser of property, if you want to start a new business, if you have an existing business, it creates a heart in a area that you can't have with just government.
And we don't really have a lot of people in economic development right now, and I am getting phone calls, like you mentioned. I got one yesterday from a downtown property owner who tried to call the city, couldn't get a hold of anyone, and just called me. I didn't really have a lot of answers for her, but I definitely helped her feel better in the moment. But those things are happening, and we do need someone to answer the phone and say, yeah, we have a property downtown. That's great. It's affordable. Yeah, yours booked anyway, but I always try. But again, you're right. I think if you think of the alternative, what are we going back to? Most of us don't even remember probably before Decky existed, but it's going to be a heck of a lot of work for this group. So then you're gonna need.
I do. We've gone full circle. I mean, in the 90s, we had Jim Shue, and he was your counterpart. He existed. He was fired and terminated, and the whole thing was cut off. For a few years, there was just empty properties all over the place downtown. And then the city started getting re-involved a little bit, and then they started Decky. And now Decky was a good thing for a certain area, but now the boards, business owners, the people on the boards don't have the time to give it and the attention to give it the way one person can give it.
I'd also like
One
to just mention that Spearmint. I don't know if anybody else was there with me last fall, but that was a nightmare. And I'd give anything not having to go through that again, and letting you guys take care of that. That was hours of like useless time.
And she has a board. You have a board. Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so it isn't like she's gonna take $100,000 and slip it in her pocket. Why? It ain't gonna work.
Now, do I
If you
think
do, she's going to jail.
we can have a compromise?
But we don't have a much representation on that board from so far.
Oh my.
Okay, we just.
Hello?
Yeah, 1 out of 11 or 15.
It's not.
I have a really loud voice.
Who we're replacing Nancy with?
Okay.
Who we're replacing Nancy with?
Okay. First, I just
Supposed
want
to be at least 4.
First, I want to identify that Emma Lou Larson, who is our chair, she's on medical leave right now, but she's our chair. She's from South Barstow Bid representing Ruderware. Okay. Then we have Nikki Olson, South Barstow Bid. Angela did just resign because she has made no meetings this year, and that's okay, but part of her bylaw, she's got to show up. She resigned. She was South Barstow. Jen Linville's on our board, South Barstow. Julia Johnson's on our board, South Barstow. Jason Mans is on our board, owns businesses in South Barstow. I'm the executive director and I have a business in South Barstow. So you have already 5 of our 15 that are South Barstow businesses. Then we have, you know what?
All right, let's get back to this though.
We're represented.
Because I do want to keep us sort of on time. I got clients I got to get back to. You guys are busy. I get it. As far as, I know we've discussed this in the past, is there any sort of compromise where we can agree to work with Decky in the way that North Barstow is? We hand over the budget, but maybe take out of it that things like lighting can still be completely handled by you. Or if Jeremy really wants to keep entertainment all to himself.
Here's the problem I have with Steve handling the whole budget. So a lot of our budget gets returned to our reserve because we don't necessarily spend it. Decky's gonna spend it.
Yes.
Well,
That's
you make a budget with a purpose to spend the money.
right.
So if you're not
Okay, but-
spending it, a little fiscal year is
What's stipulations on, right? They 170, you say you got 150 or something.
You know,
So North
I mean,
Barstow only gave us 70,000.
And I don't
of
think-
their budget.
I don't think you can do the work.
Oh,
Quite honestly, I don't think you have the capacity.
It's capacity, not the ability.
Well, without
Not
money-
the ability, it's a capacity.
without money, I don't have capacity because we're operating on a very small budget, $269,000 for 1.75 staff. So I need more money to get more staff to do the work. That's what I want to do. I want more staff.
And then what is your accountability to the bid? Are you gonna bring Decky budgets to us every meeting? Cause we haven't seen any of those. Mickey might see
I
them.
can give you.
We, well, no one's presented to the whole board to have somebody, Decky, say, this is our budget, this is how we do things. We're giving them all our money. How are they,
Take
how
my
are they?
seat on the board.
I don't want to be on the Decky board, but I think Decky
Oh, but
should,
you want all the
I think
information?
Decky should report to the bid the same way any other person.
Wouldn't that be included with our contract? You know, the needs that we have?
Do you disagree with that?
No, but I just think, I'm sorry that I'm smiling. So like for North Barstow, for instance, I have to report because I'm spending their money. So I bring financial reports that have already been sent to Aaron, that have been reviewed by the city. So everything is, every single dollar is matching up. They have their own checking account, separate from Decky's money. So I'm spending their money, I'm accounting for it, I'm proving it. For the city, I have to provide a financial report to make sure that I'm spending my money appropriately. That has to be turned in by the end of August. From the year before. And so they'll be making sure that I'm spending the tax dollars that they give us, which includes your money as well, appropriately. I can definitely walk you through that. Your budget, like if you gave me money to spend, that's separate from the money that Decky is spending just to do things downtown, right?
Yeah, they're not.
Like our downtown
spending
enhancement
outside.
grant we just awarded isn't coming from you. That's coming from our budget where we've raised money and collected money and thrown events to bring money in. So, we're a sponsor.
We're part of our 40 grand.
Not for the downtown enhancement grant specifically, for the 40 grand. I mean, again, you guys are deciding how I spend this money. For North Barstow, it's easy. I've got $70,000. It can only go to one of 7 things that they've picked. And if I don't follow that, I don't have the job anymore. So that money is so different. How Decky spends this money, I can certainly do a report for you on what we've spent our money on. I just
We also
didn't-
have handed over $40,000 for like a decade, never asked specific amount.
Yeah, it was never a
Oh,
problem.
It was never a problem,
We question
so.
giving money to Decky for years. It's all.
But it came
But
back
it also
to-
never functioned at the level it's functioning now. Now we know shit's being done. This wasn't maybe 3 years ago when we first questioned it.
Downtown's a different beast than it was 10 years ago. And so before it was throw 2 events in South Barstow, we'll give you $40,000. Summer Fest, Fall Fest. That's what it was. It was that simple.
I think I'll start with Mike. So if you took over budgeting.
Yeah.
Obviously, we say you can spend the money on these different categories, let's say banners and maintenance, for example, and then you decide what the banners look like. Do we get any approval on
You guys are
100%.
directing everything. I'm just the one after the meeting that calls up Thomas Lee and says, hey, we're gonna design some new banners. We need them up by next month. Can you give me a bill? And then he said, yes, and I pay them.
And I'll speak a little bit on, obviously, you're really what we're involved with Terry. I'm just more of I have a lot of interactions with Terry, again, Main Street with Chippewa. And she kind of is that face of Chippewa. I'm not in any of those bids or any of that, but if I need to go in and ask questions, I go there. I get emails, what's kind of happening, it's her. Any kind of calls, any kind of information is her. And that's what I see just from an outside perspective. So it is nice to have that. I'm just putting that out there just for an example. But yeah, I think it's as long as all the I's are dotted and all the T's are crossed.
And any of our worries get wrapped up in a contract with you. If we need to see something
Hopefully,
where we
you don't
want,
use me again,
Yeah.
or I
Or
go
we
to
don't
jail
do it
because I
after
stole a
next
bunch of
year.
money. which is
Absolutely.
gonna happen. But, yeah, it's a contract. So in a year from now, if I have not met the obligations of the contract and I haven't spent your money in the ways that you've asked, then you don't hire me again. And I don't necessarily like, the only thing that benefits me by taking your money is that these vendors are staying intact, right? Because we are going to lose vendors. I just had Mitch yesterday reached out about a quote for Water Street because we literally cannot move forward without landscaping without 3 quotes. He's like, isn't Jen doing this? Then I had to reach out to him again about lighting for Garland because North Barstow wants to purchase it. So, and that's not part of my spending. So because I have to follow payment procurement. And he goes, doesn't Thomas Lee do that? I don't want to step on his toes. It's like, I don't really care. I need 3 people to give me a number on what it costs to light some light poles. Otherwise, I can't do my job. So what this contract eliminates is that I can go to the vendor we've used for 20 years, who will get the job done, who has good pricing, who is certified, and can do it. I can call Thomas Lee and say, hey, this season, instead of just South Barstow, North Barstow and West Grand are getting lighted garland. And that benefits all of us, right? So I have
that
the
confusion
capacity.
with the vendors is
If-
there too.
The system is set up appropriately. So if all the bids would move to the same kind of process and the city accepts it, we can do everything. If I'm doing 4 bids that all have different arrangements and agreements, yes, my bandwidth has shrunk down to this. So, South Barstow has always been my focus, partly because it is the main part of downtown. It's the biggest bid. You do the most the business there. But, this year with Water Street, I'd love to show what can be done in 1 year with this much investment when you have someone who's doing the work.
So let's say you get, we can call it lighting. Would we have committee meetings yet too from the bid? Would we still have, those meetings, or is it just you kind of,
That's up to you.
same with the landscape, because I know there's people that like to be in the landscape committee down here. But let's just say they give you landscape to administer, does that mean you're just doing it on your own, or are you going to include people that are on the bid within that sort of a committee to deal with landscaping? How does that function?
I think we still have committees.
People still,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It would be written into your operating plan and your bylaws, how you guys operate. None of the other bids have committees, although Water Street's supposed to, and they don't. I just read their bylaws, but anyway, they have an executive committee at North, so they usually make all of the decisions there, and then just present it to the full board. Julia's been given, the, authority to kind of spend money, so I work with Julia specifically. In this case, you guys kept your committees, I'd work with you on lighting. I'd work with Nikki on landscape. If he tells me she wants to invest more planters, I go work it out. I tell her how much it's gonna be, she signs off on it. So
Nothing gets spent until
yeah,
at committee level.
cannot spend it until it is approved by usually the board chair, but if you wanted it to be the committee chair, you would just make that in your operating plan for the year or the contract.
That's the way I kind of saw it. Not to belittle the position,
Yeah.
it's almost kind of like it's a worker bee.
Yeah.
You make that decision, you get this information, you do the emails, then I assume you would come to these meetings. You're kind of the one person with all the knowledge.
Yeah.
And you'd be almost, this is the information, this is what I figured out, this is what the
Yeah.
email says, this is the cost.
We don't know if this isn't gonna work unless you try it.
would we try it on some of our stuff this year?
I'm willing to let landscape go. I think, how are you feeling about your committee?
What about the other people on the committee?
I don't,
Who else is on the
I
committee?
mean, we could bring that to full board and see if anybody
And would you? still
has a
have
feeling
committee?
about it.
I know that Angie enjoys landscaping.
Yeah, we'll still have committees. We'll still make all those decisions together for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, but as far as her contacting Jen and other vendors for, irrigation needs or whatever, I just get to stop making those phone
It
calls.
would be me figuring it out and saying, hey, Nikki, I found these 3 styles. These are the prices.
Yeah.
What do you want to do? Yeah, and then she'll say, all right, move forward to 20 and I do it.
and like
And I
any
think-
business, her incentive is to save as much money in each category as she can to invest it in other areas that she needs money for.
Yeah.
So I mean, she's an active business that she has incentives that are self-inflicted,
Mhm.
that help.
And then we can get back to the ideas and the fun, projects that we have, but we're messing with so much busy work right now. It's just not been
Who hires
very
you?
conducive.
Who would, if you left, who would hire you? Do you have a?
The board.
The board of direct, so deputy board would hire for my position.
I'm guessing the operating planners and there's gotta be some kind of.
Well, and the bids approve it. Or,
I don't think
again,
so.
she can get hired, but whether or not we give them a contract or not
Correct.
is up to the bid.
Correct.
So,
Yeah.
So we could hire somebody we don't like because they.
Yeah.
No.
yeah, this person's an a-hole, we don't want him.
We're
Let
not-
me be honest with you, Jeremy, I can't quit working for some time.
Speaking for me, speaking for me,
It's gonna be a while.
lighting's pretty much set up. I got both contracts signed for next year already. One of them's just waiting on Thomas to sign, but we've got the Tiny Oasis and the Thomas Lee, those are done. It's just a matter of administering it and it's kind of set up that way. It just doesn't include anything more than that right now. I think we're waiting on like hold harmless agreements and stuff like that.
Well, that's a totally separate project for lighting. Yeah,
No.
and then that would come out of reserve. That would not be something I could go spend money on. I can do the work for it, but I couldn't just go spend it. if
Well,
it
you
was
were
coming from
gonna
reserve.
research those and we didn't have time probably, right? Just like I don't have time.
Yes, the lighting project has taken hold. Keep in mind, I did not even get through an RFP contract with North Barstow, so I didn't sign
Yeah,
it
you're
until the end
pretty
of March.
honest.
Effectively haven't started working in this capacity until April, and even then,
Right.
I couldn't, so,
But you guys have the capacity, instead of going to those other communities, because we know, in talking to Thomas Lee, what it would take. And you could go to Ware or somebody else and have them draw something up for the building owners.
Yeah.
I mean, that,
Goal would
well,
be
we,
to
we
stay
can't, we
local.
can't do that.
Tiffany
So-
may not know what this is about. This is lighting of the rooftops on Barstow.
But there's a project, because they're all privately owned businesses, there'd be a
Well, we
variety of
got
different.
quotes on
ways
it
to
for
do
a couple of years and stuff, so there's a lot of little intricacies.
Well, and North Barstow wants me to pursue this next year too, so I will be, it's just, this is, for me, this is like a next January, February
Yeah.
project,
Mhm.
not a right now thing.
Right.
Mostly
And
because
then
I'm
you
trying
would,
to,
then you would come to us and Thomas Lee would give me these numbers and I have things figured out. And you tell the lighting, say, hey, I need help with that building owner, that
Right.
building owner, I need power there. And then you say, hey, we're just gonna, if we wanna do them all, it's gonna cost us,
Right.
$80,000.
So do you, getting back to that line item, so if, because you're gonna take lighting on your own potentially, are you thinking that that dollar amount needs to change?
I know,
I think knowing that like part of North
No,
is already going up to 50 and we're staying at 40.
we're already down,
even with
taking
him
to,
off.
we're down to bid support already at 40.
Yeah, that's where I'm at.
Yeah.
We don't need to adjust that line item. Do you guys want to shift any of that over to sponsorships?
so again, the biggest thing is if you do a contract with me and you give us your money or anything more than 30,000, we have to do an RFP. So for the service agreement, if you weren't going to turn over all your dollars to me and you just wanted me to kind of play the same role I've been doing this year, splitting this into 20 and 20 gets away from, we just need to get 3 quotes for each thing. For the contribution, if you can just to us, just like sculpture through, I don't know why you wouldn't. So just keep in mind that dollar amount. If you keep 40,000 here, we are going to still have to do an RFP, even if you don't turn over all your funds.
I prefer this just to, when we give you the money, it's that you perform the stuff you're supposed to perform and not bill us hourly and all that kind of stuff. I don't like that idea either.
So
I just think that's part of your job and duty and what we expect of executive. And if it doesn't happen, then, maybe we just don't use it next year. I guess.
Right. So
So to avoid an RFP, this dollar amount in staff support would have to sit less than 40 or less than 30. So if we did like 29 there and gave you 11,000 for sponsorships for the events, and then we don't have to go through a mess of, I mean, there's nobody else there. I think that we discovered that with North.
and that's the biggest problem. So Water Street is looking to do this with us. I have to somehow go out and get quotes for them for other, nobody does this work. This is unique work.
Right.
Okay. So
We have to keep our vendors.
we've asked Chamber, they've said they will not and do not do this. Visit Eau Claire will not and do not do this. And then the only other recommendation we had was to reach out to a temp agency, which makes absolutely no sense whatsoever for something so specific. I would love to get deemed, the only organization that can do something like this, so we don't have to go through this process every year, but we do. I mean, that's where we're at. We need to go through the process.
So if we did like that 29, divide that by 12 months, should be giving them 2,400 a month in staff service.
For those sponsors. 29,000.
Yeah, yeah, but if we put that as staff support, then we don't have to do the RFP situation. And then we give them 11,000 for sponsorships to their events, which is essentially what that money would be going towards anyway.
No.
I can tell you from sitting on the board, that's where like dollars get.
So would that satisfy it? Or were you able to, you'd be the one pet honcho for this thing?
No, we have to sign a contract.
And
We'd have
signing
to,
a contract.
we'd have to decide which one of these we
I
want.
still need to go get quotes for other companies who do this work for you,
We'd have
which,
to say, okay, we want you to handle, this one. Or we give you, 60,000, whatever.
so that's what Julia did in the RFP is, and I can send you over. So they did not give us their capital improvement project, which has like $50,000 in it. So they didn't give us that. And then, of course, anything the city does, like auditing, insurance, we don't do. So I only had access to like 5 of the 10 line items that I spend the money from. So you can make those determinations. It's all written out in the operational plan alongside your RFP.
We don't need the ability to contract in our operating plan to do this, because it's an RFP.
You need the ability to contract in your operational plan so that you can have an RFP to contract.
We're working.
The biggest piece is that, yes, you can contract and that's kind of understood, but it's the ability to hire a contractor who can subcontract without falling payment.
So I feel like what we can do at this point, is just to like make this clear to full board. We say, hey, we've discussed that we want to move forward working with Becky on a capacity that is either like North or like Chippewa. And then leave it open for
Maybe a
discussion, how
hybrid
people
of
want
the
to see
two.
that 40,000 or a hybrid of the two.
Yeah.
And then get approval from full board to let us work out those details on exec level.
So just so
Is
you're
that
all
what you
clear,
So then we don't have to make this decision today. We don't have time to make this decision like.
$138,000 is what I would have the ability to spend if you turned your budget over to me. Oh, for 40,000. I suppose if you put the 11,000 there, you know, well, but.
Yeah.
So I'm not taking, so the 40, that's just to pay for me to do all the work, so your budget then becomes 138,000. Or if you kept lighting, you would do less than that. But we do need to make these decisions like super soon, because if you have to go to RFP, it has to be done by October if you want me to start January 1. This is just the process of the city.
We don't have an approved operating plan, you
I
know,
know.
and we're waiting, which Janessa,
Yeah.
I'm working on it with Janessa, so I was on vacation last week and she was maybe the week before, so we'll have something, I think, but we're also working on upgrading our bylaws as well, which we'll have to approve. We have some things in our bylaws that we're not maybe kosher, so there's a few things that we're gonna get through there, so.
And I think the
Those will have
biggest
to be
thing is getting
done
full
at our
board
meeting.
approval, to even work with you first before we get in the weeds with all the details, right? I mean, it has to pass the full board.
So
So put it on from the executive committee, put it as an agenda item on next week
Mhm.
to get it voted on.
But
Yeah.
you guys need to figure out, I would highly suggest you go in with a plan of what you're the leadership group. You're gonna go tell the board what you think is best, and then they discuss and put action to it if they want.
So if we take the 138, if you take those line items that you said for 138, that would be a plan. And then Dave, you would have a recommended plan as well that you'd want
That we remove out lighting and we remove whatever.
to.
I think lighting's the only one that needs to get removed out.
just thinking here, I know my
Did you
recommendation
catch all
would
of
be
our
that
budget dollars?
there's
Okay.
committee meetings would continue.
Landscaping is going up
I agree with that.
4,500.
And she agrees
Yeah,
that
50,
that's
60,
okay.
50.
That would have to be in there.
Can we just like confirm those? Make sure I got this all. We got nothing in other materials, 200 auditing, nothing outreach, nothing snow removal. 150 or 21,500 for garbage?
Yep.
50 stormwater, 400 insurance. 15 in music maintenance, 6,500 banner.
Yep.
56,850 for landscaping
Yeah.
and everything else the same.
Well, no, sponsorship.
Okay, now, yeah. so we have-
Sponsorship, you were gonna add 29,000. So that
Nope,
would be
I was gonna,
34.
she said if this dollar amount falls under 30,000, then we don't have to go through finding other
Right,
quotes.
so you got 40 in there right now.
Right.
You gotta
So I'm
make
saying we
sponsor-
could change,
Find quotes, you just don't have to do an RFP.
You're gonna put sponsorship that, you're gonna add 29,000 there,
Nope.
and this
11,
bid support's gonna drop to 11.
nope, vice versa,
I don't think so.
yes,
29 for bid support, 11 for.
11 for sponsorship.
So
I thought you called that a sponsorship.
you guys can break it up however you want. The thing is, if you turn your dollars over to me, it will have to go to RFP, no matter what, because there's too much money there. And they're gonna consider that part of the contract.
Then why don't we just leave it the way it is?
You could, right? So then it would be the 40. I mean, this is the other difference. This money comes to me monthly. Sponsorship is one check. You guys do whatever you want. I don't really care. Jackie needs to know, we have to make a budget waiting on the city's budget. We have no idea if there's money written into Jackie this year or not, and what that amount would be if it is. So we're kind of waiting on all the bids to figure out like, what is it we're gonna do next year? Because if we don't get funding from bids, we have to shift, offense, but I wouldn't be able to spend time like doing your priorities. I'd be doing the other downtown stuff that I need to do, find funding, all that. So
How does
Right.
North have their set up? Do they have a sponsorship and a staff support?
they're doing $20,000 a contribution to Decky.
So that you get the 20 right up front?
Yeah, and then they're doing $20,000 staff support, but then they added $10,000 extra dollars that we specifically will focus on marketing efforts for their district. So that money, not for Decky, it's just more marketing. But for our labor for us to do it. So 20,000 is contribution.
20,000, yeah.
Contribution or sponsorship.
Well, same line.
Okay. So why don't we do that? Why don't we split up
So that's
20,000 up there and
That
sponsorship?
guarantees Decky gets 20 right off the bat in 1 month.
Yeah.
To get operating with, and then we pay
What
them out
is,
that
what is
20,000.
your desire?
For the money?
Yeah.
Like how much money I want? Definitely $40,000 because that has been the contribution for years. And so to change from that would mean that we're either doing something worse than we were, or you guys are in trouble and don't have the money to give.
That's not totally true, because it was that contribution for years, but what we got for that contribution was city staff, right? And all that, so really, we're not getting that now, and we're giving you, so is it different? Seems like it might be different.
I was city staff.
You were.
I think sometimes there's creative folks that just maybe are better off not government employees. But, yeah, I think you're upgrading immensely. My ability to do work even from when I was a city employee to now is much greater. I have much more impact. I would say 40,000 is absolutely what I'm asking for is the minimum. Other bids are contributing more, I think in part because like North Barstow has seen how well it works, so they want to give us more money. Water Street needed to kind of make a decision to get off the pot because they notoriously haven't spent their good money. That's fiscally irresponsible. They should not be a bid if they're collecting money and not spending it. And so we're going to do more. West Grand is raising their budget. They're going to give us more money. But things cost more now. Employees cost more. Every minute of every day is more expensive than it used to be. I think $40,000 would be a great contribution to move forward. I do think you guys should consider, I mean, like I have ideas of things that I think could really benefit the bid. But I think, I don't know.
So I just
I
wanna,
don't need to see an increase, but I would love to see continued support.
I do want to say, I mean, you know, I'm even looking at like landscaping. I think that dollar should be higher. I think maybe Decky, we should, you know, allocate money to potentially have that higher. I think because of how we got screwed last year, I think we have to stay at this mill rate for a hot minute. It's like the highest it's ever been in history. I think.
It's average though. Average mill rate, no,
No?
across the state of Wisconsin.
Oh, I
The
was like
average
compared to
mill
this? Yeah, from 84 to 20. But,
I think we say at the same budget amount, the mill rates probably would make that slightly different.
nope, the mill rate would stay the same as last year, what we discovered. At
Even though
258.
there's less assessed property.
Yeah, it's
Close
like a
enough
matter
that
of cents or a
close
couple
enough
hundred
that-
bucks or something. I wish we could go a lot
I
higher. on
also think
But
I'm still not
that,
convinced on those numbers.
so North Barstow and Water Street both pull money from reserve every year to put in their operating budget because they can. So North Barstow pulls $50,000 annually from their reserve. A lot of times it goes back into the reserve because they don't end up spending it, but they do that. And then Water Street pulls 5,000. So they only assess, in the past, Water Street assessed for 11,000, but they had a budget of 13. So you guys could do that as well. You
Why do
could
I wanna
do
say-
this budget and add $20,000 to use so that it's not in your reserve. You know, you can put it into your landscape and then you can put it back. You don't spend it.
Well, and maybe we can't make that decision until we have a conversation tomorrow, we have like real time numbers. I do want to talk about our reserves. I think it's really high for us not having like a project or anything that we're saving money, but we're collecting money and not spending it. Well, lighting or maybe even like, you know, doing hanging
Well,
basket, things
You
like
also
that.
you might have irrigation issues if that's our problem. I mean, you
Okay,
might have some.
It is
It
11
is-
o'clock.
I agree with you. It's a high amount, but we
yeah.
have thought about, and there's also like some removal, so you get a couple stone removals done, that's like 20 grand right there.
I think we just need to like comment to the full board that, I mean, because here we've got, we don't have any more money dropping into it, but maybe that's 7,500 for music. You know, that's gonna put us almost up over like 100K. I thought we were in the 90s for like a reserve down. So I just want to speak to that like, hey, we've got a lot of money sitting in, but we do have discussion projects, ideas. Beautification grant, I know is something that I love that North Barstow's doing.
You guys, North Barstow got 3 murals in 2 months in their district because they fund $20,000 of beautification every year. It's incredible what can get done with a beautification grant. I would love to see your board consider that.
Is that something, you guys would feel comfortable with me bringing up next week? At full board to discuss how everybody feels about something like that?
Bring it up. I don't think I support it, but.
The what's, well,
Fine.
the beautification.
We only need
Oh,
11,
I would
8
never-
of 15.
I'm not a fan of painting buildings, so, but I mean,
Yeah, wouldn't even
not
have
that
to do
your,
that.
your one doesn't look nice down there with the, purple or
Yeah, that's beautiful.
whatever.
It doesn't have to be, I mean, it could be, I don't know, getting that fence between the alleyway, between sheds. It could be getting you more security for your building because that's, I don't know.
Who's responsible for maintaining those, it's so many years down the road and those things start to go to hell.
Well, the property owner of the building enters into the agreement. If it's on public property, the city has an agreement that's already kind of drafted for those public projects. So there's an expectation that the artists maintain it up to a certain point. For instance, Joe Mauer, who just did the tunnel mural, he's been taking care of some things, that have come up since the project. So it's always written in the contract. So now with the beautification grant, just so you know, it is, so the money is there from the bid, and actually West Grand has something like this too, they just haven't used it in a while. So North Barstow has an online application where people, it lays out the terms of the grant. They have to spend it in 1 year, they can only apply for up to $10,000, they need to provide a budget of what it is, so they'll get different projects. Murals are the easiest to explain. But Matt Pavish received one for his building, which was, installing a facade upgrade of large retail windows, a new door, which just basically helps bring light to the street, make it feel like more retail central. So it actually impacts the entire bid. It definitely helps his landlord
We'll talk
because
about
their
it
building
later.
is more valuable.
Yeah.
But when we had this conversation last at South Barstow, I remember specifically Stuart Schaefer saying, what building owners need to take care of their property. Why should we have to do that?
Yeah.
But that's the wrong way to
That's what I
look at this grant. It's an opportunity for businesses like mine who don't own a building, who aren't going to invest in John Wilkinson's building with the little dollars I make, but maybe want to upgrade my electrical fixtures on the outside, what he's unwilling to do to bring overhead lighting into my business. So at night, it's whatever. But I'm not going to invest in his building. So it gives opportunity to businesses to even more create a vibe and an atmosphere and increase your, vibrancy on your street without having to pressure John into doing it or figuring out a contract with John. I can apply for $5,000 and I can get an electrical upgrade and it serves everyone in the district.
We also have this
City has
gigantic
facade
reserve
homes.
budget.
Right? The city has facade homes.
Yeah.
This is an easy way to make big splashes in your district with money you're not spending.
We don't even have
And
to do it
it's
every
proof of
year
concept.
either.
Of like why a bid is important.
We gotta move on. I actually have to leave in
Yeah.
20 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm really sorry, I didn't know. Okay, so we're comfortable with our budget. We're gonna keep the mill rate essentially the same. We're gonna keep our 178. You've got all of our line item dollars listed out. The biggest difference is that sponsorships were increasing by 15K, right? So that we can make sure that we get Decky. We're gonna bring it up to the board that we wanna work with Decky and would like their support in us moving forward with that arrangement, that agreement. And in the meantime, we can kind of muddy through the waters with what the North RFP looks like. Right?
Yeah, I'll send you everything they got.
We'll do that.
So,
I mean,
well, some of this work
do-
you
Come,
guys have
come,
to do.
come to us with what you
Yeah.
will, do for us and what your, what your requirements are, or if you're gonna continue the whole committee meetings or this and that, you're gonna show us your financial reports like you do everybody else or your.
Well, so I kind of did that, but if you have specific, I need you to do that. This is a contract between us. Like, I need to know.
I didn't see. it.
Basically,
Is that
look at
something
the-
come before? Wasn't in
Yeah.
today's packet.
No,
No.
look at the North contract that they have and you can pick that
Want to
apart.
shoot a picture of those 2 pages for you?
Well,
I will send over,
she'll email it.
I just did this for Water Street. I will send over North Barstow's operating plan that got approved by council, so everything in there is fair game, and then I'll
We
send
have
over
that.
the contract.
Have it already.
I want to move on real quick. Okay, so the RFP plan and discussion. This is just for your reference. I don't think we need to really discuss much. I just wanted to follow up, I think, at our last exec meeting. I talked about how important I think it is that we get the RFPs like out now, so that these vendors can know that they're hired Jan 1. Last year, we were still filling out RFPs, January.
Okay, so which ones did you get done?
We have it. I'm gonna put them forward now. Oh, you already done?
I got, Green Oasis done and I got Thomas Lee done.
That's 26?
I got mine done, yeah.
All right. Well, landscaping
Because
is,
it's a 3-year.
And I sent Sean over to, Jeremy to get banners done, but I don't know if he did. So I told him to reach out to you on the banners.
well, okay, good. As long as this is all like on
The
our,
contract for next year.
yeah.
Oh,
And which one do you have to do, garbage and landscape?
Yep, and garbage, I have no problem. We're gonna have to put that out
Got all
for
my stuff done?
RFP.
Well,
Landscaping, we have to
you
still
get it
figure
done?
out.
Did you get quote? I'm still confused. Or is it a 3-year contract from previous? Because every year you have to do the same thing. Like, how can you
I got it
hire-
done. It doesn't matter. It doesn't
I'm
matter.
just trying to figure out.
It doesn't matter, it's done.
So you
And
have,
it's- and it- yeah.
well, then you don't need Decky to be doing,
No kidding, that's what I keep saying.
this meeting is more confusing than my water treatment.
No, she told us to go out and get our stuff done for next year, so I did.
But you got quote. How can you
I
enter the
don't.
con? I don't understand.
Okay, let's talk about that later. I love it. Okay, we've got just basically updates. I just I'm jumping to that, current CIP update. I know it's not included in the packet. Let's just talk about it full board. If we can get that. I know that there's a sheet out there somewhere, but I don't even know what that looks like, but I know that there's one that exists, so we can skip that. Operating plan update, you were out of town, so we're kind of just waiting.
Okay, well, I did down, but then I didn't get stuff back, so then when I went out, I did get stuff back, so, yeah.
Yeah.
We're working, we are working out, we did meet, county with her as well. Unfortunately, or fortunately, whatever, but
Okay, so that is happening and everything is good.
I feel good here, so.
Perfect.
No,
So
it went pretty well. The things that they were wanting to take out were the things that we probably expected them to take on, but there's some things I was kind of fighting to keep in, so we'll see how that goes. I haven't looked at the red line thing she sent me back yet, so.
Okay.
We talked about it in our meeting.
But we'll be able to,
You wanna share that, red line?
I don't have it. Oh, I haven't looked at it yet. Yeah.
is that something, did we already get approval from the full board to move forward with the operating plans stuff? I think we did.
Yeah.
So we don't have to bring like the final copy back.
Oh, yes, we do.
Okay.
Yeah, you'll need
So
a-
are you gonna have it for next week?
It's all it.
Okay.
But we'll have it for, don't we have
We
another
just need it
meeting?
for
in
the
September?
I think you should have the red line draft in the packet, probably for next week.
That
And you
would
don't
be nice.
necessarily need to talk about it, but just so that they have access to the information. And maybe you say this is just a draft working through it, but we wanted you to see where it's at. You're getting short on time, Dave, because if you don't do it at this next meeting, council needs your budget and your operating plan in October for anything to happen January 1, different than it's happening. So
We made it in September, right?
So you'll
Yeah,
have
so
to
we
have
should-
it approved in September meeting if you want it to go forward.
All right, I got a couple
It's
updates
not-
for you guys.
Not next week.
Not next week. No, we're like almost in September.
Okay, I've got a couple updates for you guys, and then we can kind of wrap this up unless staff or anybody else has updates. I had irrigation and thoughts on an MOU. I brought that up because of this irrigation issue is also bringing up this MOU. We're gonna work out that meeting, it sounds like, and we'll get a conversation.
The MOU,
started.
yeah.
Yeah, working on MOU. So, that's in the works. That I just want to let you guys know in case you didn't hear about it, but it's just a really confusing situation. So John Mugginson's Four Corner lot, he had dug up some of the city property that was on it, I think, because there was an agreement, it's his
Where the
property.
trees were,
It's for the trees.
it's kind of a weird spot. It's his property,
Yes.
butts up to the.
In that digging process, something was injured in the irrigation system. So it was, kind of right off the bat, like, oh, well, this has got to be John's problem. Well, I think John has kind of concluded that the irrigation line was sitting under his property, so he shouldn't have hit anything. And so it's not his problem. So we're somewhere in this limbo of,
You haven't got that fixed yet?
nope,
Oh, good
because
God.
the city's taking it over. We've asked if we can fix it with our irrigation guy. They didn't like the quote. They brought in another company. That company seems to think there's a different problem. So we've got two irrigation companies offering very different quotes and very different problems. So we're kind of at this point, like, do we need to bring in a third quote and find out what's going on? Because, yeah,
Well, and I think part of the problem is they won't know what's going on until they.
They have to dig it up.
yeah.
Why don't they dig it up?
Well, that, we're trying to figure out
That's where
who's
the
gonna do
limbo
it, and is the city paying for it? So the irrigation was laid during Barstow reconstruction.
Yep.
The argument is it should have never been laid under John's property.
But it wasn't John's
And-
property, it was a city property at that point.
He
Or
never
Pablo's
owned it. It
property,
was- Yeah, it wasn't John's
It was
property, but it
not
wasn't
John's
city
property.
property. It was private property.
totally John's responsibility.
It's a mistake that was made, what, 15 years ago?
John's not saying he won't pay it. John's saying he doesn't want the bid to pay it.
Well, it's.
Now, in the
it was
meantime,
there, it's
we've
not-
got a
it's not-
landscaper that's hand
The
water,
city put it there.
and that's adding more time and more dollars that we also don't want to seem to have to cover, so
I
we're
can't
hoping
believe-
this, yeah.
I can't believe it's not fixed yet. Everything's gonna die again.
Jen's been hand watering.
Hand watering, and we've gotten a lot of rain, so we got lucky, but it needs to get figured out like
So
yesterday.
where are you at with it?
Jen is waiting to hear anything from the city.
The last
I
I knew is she
Company,
said
where are we
that.
at with it?
All I know is that Dave said that they might discuss irrigation. That's all I know.
Yeah,
Oh,
so-
us. But
No, Dave Solberg said that.
yeah.
So if you want an update, then I would have to ask, but I don't
Yeah.
know myself.
I think Dave handed it over.
Sounds like you guys know more than I do.
who makes those decisions?
So Dave was out last week. Brandon got another company to come in from Premium.
Yeah,
We're waiting on a quote for them.
okay.
Oh, another third company. Premium.
But they haven't dug it up, so
Oh,
how do they even know what's going on?
premium. Lot.
Well,
Well, Premium was down there on Thursday. Yes. They were digging kitty corn, like in front of the print shop. So something broke down there.
Well, hold something apart, you know.
it's really confusing because again, we've got the city's irrigation company and then Jen's hired irrigation company, and they're saying vastly different things about where the fix is.
But the guy from Premium
So it's
used to
Kinda
work
messy,
for Greener Grass, who installed it back then. So
Okay.
he knows the system. That's why.
Rainmaster installed it.
Rainmaster, okay.
So yeah, so stay tuned. We'll have an update again probably next
So,
week.
okay, if they're doing that, then who's paying for it?
That's what is unknown.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so should we get to that?
But we also have some,
When would that be known? I mean, it seems like that's kind of important.
So if Nikki had moved forward and said, Florencia or Jen, contract and fix this, the bid would have paid for it because it was like an emergency or something that popped up and she could have made that approval.
but I said no.
But she didn't. But then the process would be, would the city have paid out from your account to Florencia? Would that have happened, or to Jen to pass on to Florencia?
So we
Would
could
that
have
have
gone
happened?
out thousands.
Because it wasn't in your budget. We don't know. So she waited. And then when the city determined that it's possible it might be something they need to do, they brought in their own contractor to review.
Yeah.
So now there's two different opinions of what's happening, but nobody actually knows 100%, and nobody knows who's paying for it 100%. But
And this was like a conversation I had right before the meeting. I mean, we're still
Oh my
just waiting to hear from city staff.
Someone's got to take responsibility.
Here, we got one more little update I want to give you guys, and then I'll leave it open to anybody else with announcement. Transit center project. I am waiting to get a little bit more clarification on this. Because Angela, as you know,
Oh, yeah, I heard
me
all
and her are on each side of the transit center, so we run into the construction guys quite
Oh.
often. Angela way more so than I do, so she has a lot of conversations. And those guys can be saying a lot of things, but they also do a lot of the work, so I would think would know better. But I also had a conversation with a construction guy that said that there's not a chance that any of the timelines that they've given us for September and October for revenue stream and the apartments being done are on time.
Streets being open, none of that.
Yeah, he said it's like physically impossible that the streets are gonna open in even 3 months. So that was kind of concerning. So I reached out to Ty and just asked for some clarification on that. He said he's gonna reach out to the apartment contractors and find out where they're at. The problem is if they are behind above, the reason the street closures are happening is because they're having to have the scaffolding and still do all that work. And it sounds like they're behind. With all that use of scaffold, they have to
Well,
keep
they're
the
not
streets closed and then the buses can't go.
There's mold on the fourth floor.
And there's like
all of
water
the
problems.
All the electrical got wrecked.
But that's, I think that's almost done, that part.
Okay,
I mean,
Yeah.
somebody had said, I heard a rumor that this was gonna happen, and I confirmed that with the managers from the city, that they think it's still all on track, but everything
okay.
that
They have to
they're,
redo a lot of the electrical as well.
I think
heard
it's
that
almost
off the
done.
road. They're working on it.
yeah, I mean, and, right, I mean, we've splashed a couple of rumors with the construction guys, but it's definitely kind of looming to find out for sure what's happening with the apartment.
Main-
Because
Main
city
Street
side of it
goes for
says they're
5
ready to
years.
go, but
And those are Main Street's been closed for 5 years.
it has been.
It's a project.
But we all know that. We've sat for 5 years meetings, right, guys? I don't have any more announcements, and I know we want to tidy up, so. it's something else.
Parking is going before council.
Oh, okay.
You guys, at the first reading was the last one, the next one, the discussion will be the next meeting.
What kind of startling decision are they making?
I think the proposal is for June first, start for paid downtown parking at $1 an hour with, 50 cents on the periphery.
And then that,
And does that include a parking utility and where the funds are gonna be spent? Is there any,
Yeah,
and also, there'll be accountability, so.
there'll be
We will be able to know how much revenue is bringing in.
Yeah.
what's going, those types of things within one entity.
well, then we already have a parking utility and it's subsidized from the general fund, so it would be, but it would be hiring a parking administrator, some consulting time. And it would pay for the downtown improvements like the debt service on the parking ramp if we replace it, that kind of thing.
Jeremy, this
Dave
is
said all
kind of like
parking
one of our
would
last
pay parking.
shots.
Yeah, well, and having a paper debt service is not.
What?
You know,
It's
most,
past,
most parking, or most parking revenue does not go to pay for physical structures and or, they go to pay for upkeep, but not like the interest on the loans, not stuff like that. That's very unusual. It's supposed to go for upkeep, maintenance, upkeep, safety, signage,
I think it-
enforcement, those types of things.
Yeah.
But you guys are using it now. Now you're telling me you're gonna use it on interest on the new loan, and you're also using it on North Barstow to pay for the fourth level. Right?
I don't understand. What do you mean? What about the fourth level?
You're taking parking revenue, from the North Barstow ramp and paying it to the tip to pay for the physical fourth level of that parking ramp.
The fourth, I don't know about the fourth level, but right now there's quite a bit of subsidy into the parking both. And it wasn't even including any kind of debt service or the capital side of things. So if you want like a real detailed breakdown, we can look at that, but,
I hate that word. We all hate that word. We don't feel like you're
transfer,
subsidizing
how about
it.
that?
We feel like it's part of doing business downtown and making downtown good.
I totally understand that and I agree, but we don't have any money. So either we do find the city has,
You guys, you keep choosing to spend it in places, right? But when you're adding new services and adding new things,
well, I would come and chime in at the council meeting because there's a lot of different opinions and priorities and stuff like that.
right, and parking is not one of them, probably.
When is that meeting?
oh yeah, when is
Uh,
that?
Monday.
Monday night would be the
Public
public
comment.
comment period,
Okay.
6 p.m., but you can also send it along.
Oh, yeah, emails.
There isn't too much on the agenda, so it should be a lot of parking and not a lot of other stuff.
No.
Yeah,
it should be.
thank you for wasting your time. I knew this was gonna be a long meeting with budget talks and all that, so thank you guys for sticking around. Otherwise, I think we can adjourn this meeting. Off to the races.
Feel overwhelmed. Okay.
You got a binder underneath the table.
Not me.
Oh, where do we go?